All right, Shalom Israel. Welcome back to Wednesday night class. Good to see everybody. Shout out and Shalom to Stream of Wisdom in Rochester, New York, Houston, Texas, and also Norfolk, Virginia. Shout out and Shalom to Cabo in Guatemala and his congregation scattered throughout Central and South America and North America as well, Georgia, California, New Mexico, Florida. And we want to go ahead and get started with the class, Salaki, for the time. It's called Identify a Broken Outlook and Fight Back. Identify a broken outlook and fight back. And this is kind of like a theme from 2 weeks ago and also last week about not succumbing to the conditions that are around you and not listening to the things that keep us prisoners of our own outlooks and our own demise, because that's an issue of how much we allow our thoughts to get to us. So I know last week we were in Romans chapter 12 about, let's go ahead and read that real quick. Romans chapter 12, verse 2, about the need that we had for converting our outlook and changing our perspective. So let's go ahead and get that to this phone on silent.
Romans chapter 12 and verse 2. And be not conformed to this world.
Go ahead.
But be transformed.
Now, Karai, you had a definition about a week ago, right?
Yeah.
About that being transformed.
Yeah. That's conformity.
That conformity, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Go ahead and read that.
Says conformity. 1828 Webster Dictionary. True happiness consists in conformity.
It says true happiness consists in what?
In conformity.
So true happiness comes from conformity. So, but conformity to what? Read that again, Amiati.
Be not conformed to the world, but be transformed in the renewing of your mind.
So if you can change your mind, if we can all change our mind, it says wherein is conformity or changing of the mind lies what again, correct?
It says true happiness consists in conformity.
So what are we missing if we don't change our minds? True happiness. So the benefit and the reward of changing the perspective lies true happiness. And what else?
It says true happiness consists in conformity of life to the divine law.
It says conforming your life to the divine law, and therein lies true happiness. What else you got?
It says consistency and also agreement.
So being consistent, not off and on, but being consistent and also being in agreement with the Most High's commandments wherein lies real happiness, true happiness. So the scripture again in Romans
12:2. And be not conformed to this world, but be transformed in the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of the Most High.
All right, so we also went through last week and explained how we could be imprisoned by our thought process. And so we read John chapter 5, verse 7, if somebody can get that also. John chapter 5, verse 7.
John. You said John?
Mm-hmm.
Say John 5.
6 and 7.
God. St. John chapter 5. Verse 6 reads, when Yahushua saw him lie and knew that he had been now a long time in that case.
And for anybody that remembers last week, how long was that man in that case?
30 years.
The man was in that situation, in that particular circumstance, in a broken state. Physically, he was lame. He had been in that condition for 38 years. That's a long time to not have a breakthrough or a recovery from a particular position. To have a certain sickness for 38 years is a very long time. So read that again up on my wall.
Come. St. John chapter 5 and verse 6 reads from the top. When Yahushua saw him lie and knew that he had been now a long time in that case, he said unto him, will thou be made whole?
And Christ didn't heal him automatically. He asked him a question, will thou be made whole? Because what he was identifying was what the real issue was. And so what did the man identify as one of his main issues of why he wasn't made whole? Read on.
Verse 7. The impotent man answered him, Sir, I have no man.
So powerless, impotent, powerless. He says, or I don't have control over my situation.
Yeah.
But what was his mentality? Was what? I have no what?
No man.
What does that mean?
Have no help.
I don't got no help. So one of the first reasons why people don't change and why people don't stay the same in their condition for a long time is because they're too busy looking for help. I'm too busy looking for somebody to help me change my condition.
Yeah.
I'm too busy looking for other people to assist me in my condition. He says, I have no help. What else?
When the water is troubled, to put me into the pool. But while I am coming, another steppeth down before me.
So,
Yeah.
so what is he saying? I don't have no help, and nobody's lifting me up, putting me in the pool, and other people are stepping down in front of me. What does that sound like? Excuses. So when we looked at last week about 3 reasons why we stay in the same condition for a very long time mentally, and why our condition don't change, is because we're discharging blame.
Yeah.
We're looking for help, and we're making excuses. Those are 3 standout reasons why people stay in the same condition. Looking for help, discharging blame, and making excuses. And if we do this, none of us will change our condition. None of us will be conformed. None of us will seek after and find and identify true happiness. There'll always be an excuse. So we read that last week, right? And we also talked about how that person or these people that have these ideas, they live in doubt. And that definition of doubt we had last week, anybody who had it, Karai, if you got it, go ahead and read it.
Doubt.
If anybody got it, doubt is what we talked about is prevalent amongst people of why they feel like they can't change a situation. Read that.
Doubt. It says to waver or fluctuate in opinion.
It says to waver or fluctuate in opinion. Read.
It says to hesitate,
Go ahead.
to be in suspense, to be in uncertainty.
To be in uncertainty. What else?
It says to be undetermined,
Go ahead. Undetermined. What else?
to fear.
What else?
It says to question or hold questionable,
Go ahead.
to withhold assent from.
Now I want you to get what does it come from as a noun? We read it as a noun last week. Doubt as a noun.
Time. Doubt is a noun. It says a fluctuation of mind
It's a fluctuation of mind. Go ahead.
respecting truth or propriety,
Go ahead.
arising from defect of knowledge or evidence.
It says it arises. Doubt comes from a defect of what?
Now.
It's when my knowledge is defective, or I don't have enough evidence to persuade me that something is possible. So if there's not enough evidence that I can change and I can be a better person, people will stay stuck with a defective form of knowledge, a broken form of knowledge. That means that my outlook will stay permanent because I don't have enough evidence that my situation can become better. There's not enough evidence available. So that's one definition of doubt. Read on in that definition.
It says arising from defect of knowledge or evidence,
Go ahead.
uncertainty of mind.
Uncertainty of mind because my mind is defective.
Yeah.
Because I don't have enough evidence that things are going to get better. And a lot of us need evidence. A lot of us need facts. A lot of us need something to hold on to. A lot of us need some type of foundation that says, if I make these changes, that something good will come. Because our doubt is so severe.
Yeah. True.
And our knowledge is so defective, we don't think anything is possible. Read on.
It says unsettled state of opinion.
It's an unsettled state of opinion or an unproven state of opinion. Read on.
As to have doubts respecting the theory of the tide.
It says, and having doubts respecting the theories of the tides. What does that mean? Having doubt respecting the theory of tides, right? The tides are about changes, that things operate in seasons.
Yeah, back and forth.
Back and forth. Seasons are good, seasons are bad.
Yeah.
Somebody that can't who has a defective knowledge or live in doubt is somebody that doesn't think that anything will ever change.
That makes a lot of sense.
They think that I will always stay like this. No good is ever possible. No matter what I do, nothing will change my
It's
situation.
never gonna go their way.
It's never going to go my way.
Like pessimistic.
It's a pessimistic perspective.
Yeah.
I can't see the good, take the good and the bad together. I can't see both sides, that things operate in two different dynamics. Just like there's good, evil's there, and good is around the corner. Where there's good, evil's around the corner. But I don't respect the tides. I don't respect that things change. All I see is the situation that I'm in now, which leads us to our next examination, which is in the Josephus. Get book 3, chapter 1, paragraph 3. Just to get there faster, it's page 78. And we're gonna start at line number 9. Book 3. I started at page 79. Book 3, chapter 1, paragraph 3, line number 9. It's at the top on page 79. Read that. You can double it. Put it in. Oh, you read it? Yeah. Oh, that must.
Page 79.
Yeah, page 79.
Chapter 3.
Mm-hmm. We're trying to see if we can read along on this and see if this camera can pick this up. Let's start from the top. I'm going to bring it a little bit, bring the book down. This one right at the top, right there. Number 9. Just leave it right there. It's good. Read that.
Is that paragraph 3? And now remove it.
Yes.
Page 79, paragraph 3. And now removing from thence, they came to Elim, which place looked well at the distance, for there was a grove of palm trees.
Read.
But when they came near to it, it appeared to be a bad place.
It says what they saw initially from a distance was like a mirage. A mirage is when you think you see something that is telling you is there, and when you get there, it disappears or it's not the same. So obviously they're parched, they're thirsty, and they're looking for some victuals, some sustenance. Read on.
For the palm trees were no more than 70.
It says they saw about 70 palm trees. Read.
And they were ill grown.
It says, but out of all the 70 palm trees, all the palm trees was what?
Ill grown.
Oh, so what does it mean when you have ill-grown palm trees? They're deformed. They're deformed. They're dried out. They weren't luscious, and they weren't yielding anything good or that could provide you with food. Read.
And creeping trees.
It says the trees look creepy, meaning these things are dried out, rotted, and twisted, contorted. Read on.
By the want of water. For the country about was all parched, and no moisture sufficient to water them and make them hopeful and useful.
It says so it took away their what?
Hope.
Their hope. It's a lot of situations that take away our hope.
Yeah.
When things become unuseful or we can't benefit from it. We can't benefit from it, I lose hope. Read on.
And no moisture sufficient to water them and make them hopeful and useful was derived to them from the fountains, which were in number 12.
Go ahead.
They were rather a few moist places than springs, which not breaking out of the ground.
It says so the water that was there, it looked like a spring, but it wasn't a spring. These were just basically looked like some mud pits. Read on.
Which not breaking out of the ground, nor running over, could not sufficiently water the trees. And when they dug into the sand, they met with no water. And if they took a few drops of it into their hands, they found it to be useless on account of its mud.
So when you pick the wet soil up, can you really drink out of mud?
You can't.
No.
You're gonna strain the mud with your teeth. You're gonna strain it with your mouth. There's nothing you can do. You can kind of put it in your mouth, suck on it, and spit it back out. It's not sufficient. It's just you get a handful of wet soil. There's no water you can extract from it. So all that does is just kill outlook. All that does is kill my hopes. All that does is make me more angry because I thought I was at least able to get something to drink or at least get some fruit off these trees. Now there's no fruit on the trees and there's nothing but mud water. Read on.
Line 11. The trees also were too weak to bear fruit for want of being sufficiently cherished and enlivened by the water.
Go ahead.
So they laid the blame on their conductor.
So who gets blamed because of my condition?
The conductor.
And at the time, who was the conductor?
Moses.
Moses was the conductor. So all the conditions, all the problems, all the ill outlook has a target. And somebody has to pay for my condition. Somebody got to be blamed. Somebody got to be blamed why I'm in the situation I'm in. So there's a fall guy. So in this case, they all looked at Moses and they looked at him and said, man, you're to blame why we're in this condition. It didn't go further than Moses. We followed you here. You brought us out of Egypt. It's your fault we're in these conditions. Read on.
So they laid the blame on their conductor and made heavy complaints against him.
And they made what?
Heavy complaints against him.
This is not just for the past. This is for the present. We still do this today where when the condition isn't satisfactory and the condition isn't favorable for us and it's unuseful and we're in a situation where we feel like we're unhappy, we have to look at somebody and say, why am I in this situation? And who can I put this on of why my mind is the way it is and I'm so sick and tired and I'm deprived of what it takes to survive. Somebody got to get fault for this. Somebody has to be to blame. Read on.
And made heavy complaints against him and said that this their miserable state.
It says that this their miserable state. Read.
And the experience they had of adversity.
Go ahead.
Were owning to him.
It says you're the reason why we're in a miserable state.
Yep.
You're the reason why we're having a bad experience.
Only.
And why we're suffering adversity.
No other reason.
No other reason. Not that, you know what? The Lord brought us this far. He didn't bring us this far to die. It wasn't, this is just a test. Good's coming around the corner. Keep your head up. Stay happy. Stay positive. You know?
Well, like you said earlier, you said it may have been just the time. It's just a bad season right now.
It's not the season. Maybe it's not the rainy season. You know? Maybe it's not the time. But what we look at is we look at the conditions and we get drowned out mentally by the conditions. And the conditions and the scenarios and the discomfort dictates the outlook.
Yeah.
So every man's outlook and every woman's outlook, they're going to look for somebody to blame when they hit a wall of unfavorable situations. Everybody's outlook is going to be shifty and change based on the scenario. It's going to fluctuate based on the scenario. Read on.
And the experience they had of adversity were owing to him, for that they had been journeying an entire 30 days.
They had only been out of Egypt for 30 days, and they're already getting ready to blame Moses. Read on.
And had spent all the provisions they had brought with them.
Everything was all ran out. All the bread and water ran out. Depleted. Read.
And meeting with no relief.
Go ahead.
They were in a very desponding condition.
Hope, despondent is hopeless. I cannot see positivity. I cannot see hope in my situation. How many of us, through certain conditions, take on this mentality where I'm in a bad circumstance and I don't see no way of getting out of it? And this is just permanently fixed this way, and nothing's ever going to change. Read.
Line 12. And by fixing their attention upon nothing but their present misfortune.
It says, when somebody doesn't understand the times, when somebody doesn't understand how seasons change and situations can change and circumstances can change, which is a byproduct of doubt, is when you don't respect the fact that things can change.
Yeah.
What does it mean when I don't respect the times? That means I'm too fixated on what? Read that again.
And by fixing their attention upon nothing but their present misfortunes.
All people do when they hit a misfortune, a wall, a bad circumstance, is that they stay stuck on just the current present bad. And they can't see no good whatsoever. This is doubt. This is what doubt is. Doubt is described as being fixated on just nothing but the current evil. I have no respect that things can change, things can get better, things are going to look up, things can become positive. This is only temporary. This is not forever. This is not permanent. This is only a season. This is only a time. This is just a moment. This is just a phase. We can't see this. All we look at is, I don't like my present condition. I don't like what I'm going through. And somebody's got to be the fault and the blame of why I'm going through it. And that's what doubt is all about. Doubt is about drowning you in your perspective and not being able to see any positive coming from your scenarios. That's what doubt is all about. That's the true definition of doubt, is when you can't see any good because you're too overwhelmed with the bad, because you're too overwhelmed with the disappointment. You're too overwhelmed with the condition. You're too overwhelmed with not having enough.
Well, there was never any good.
Or I deny that there was ever any good.
Because that's a major thing too. Though. You know, I don't think there ever was good.
Yeah.
And I hear what you're saying.
Well,
That's good for y'all. Maybe it works for you, but not my life.
not me. I can't see how this is ever going to work. So when we get into this mentality of what doubt is all about, people stay stuck in this condition for a long time. Now go back to St. John chapter 5, verse 7 and 8. Let me let that be.
God.
Or actually finish that. I'm sorry, finish that point.
Line 12. And by fixing their attention upon their present misfortunes, they were hindered.
They were what?
They were hindered
I'm disabled. I'm crippled. I'm hindered. Go ahead.
from remembering what deliverances they had received from God.
So now I don't remember. I'm robbed of memory and I catch amnesia that God has ever been with me.
Yep.
That's what doubt does. It takes away the idea that God was ever with me and good ever happened to me. And so it becomes, my doubt becomes a handicap. My doubt becomes crippling to me because I can't remember the good. All I can see, all I understand is what I'm going through, and I don't like what I'm going through. Now I'll go back to St. John chapter 5, verse 7.
Come. St. John chapter 5, verse 7 reads, the impotent man answered him, Sir, I have no man. When the water is troubled, to put me into the pool, but while I am coming, another steppeth down before me.
What does it sound like?
Doubt.
Every time I try.
An excuse.
Every time I try. When I do try, something gets in front of my way, gets in my way. There's always a wall I can't get back. I tried. I did try.
I tried.
You think I want to be here for 38 years? That's what people say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to be in the situation.
Yeah, well, why am I in this situation? What is this man dealing with?
Heavy layers of doubt.
Heavy layers of doubt, disbelief, excuses, and discharging blame.
Oh, you said earlier, defective doubt.
That's through defective knowledge. So all these reasons is why I just can't get healed. Read on.
God. And another steppeth down before him. Yahushua said unto him, Rise, take up thy bed and walk.
He said, rise, take up thy bed and what?
Walk.
Why did Christ give him direct orders? Why did Christ give him direct orders? Rise, take up your bed and walk. Why did he give him direct orders?
To leave no room for excuses.
Say that again?
To leave no room for excuses.
Because if Christ didn't give him direct orders, get up, rise means to stand up. Imagine, stand up, take up your bed and walk. He had to give him direct orders. If Christ didn't give him direct orders, he would have continued to be in that situation as a prisoner of his own excuses. How many of us are prisoners of our own excuses? Yes, sir.
That means that sometimes we need to get hit with strong correction in order for us to commit to the action of change.
That's why the persuasion tactics have to be severe. That's why the persuasion tactics has to shake somebody up, because if not, they'll stay stuck in whatever they tell themselves. People will be convinced that there's no altering my scenario. People will be convinced that I'm permanently in this situation and there's nothing that nobody can do, and there's nothing that the Lord can do. There's nothing that can be done. That's a fact. Give me James 1:9. That doesn't sound like what the Bible says, though. Read that.
James chapter 1, verse 9. Let the brother of low degree.
It says, let the brother, what does the Bible say, though? It says, let the brother of low degree do what?
Rejoice.
Go ahead.
In that he is exalted.
How can a man in a low degree, on a bad situation, and a disappointing scenario, and an uncomfortable situation, how can a brother that's in a low spot, that's unfavorable to him in this condition, still rejoice? How can you do that? How can you rejoice when your situation is unfavorable? Because that's not what in the Josephus, the children of Israel, were capable of doing when they hit a wall.
Normal psyche or natural reaction to problems or issues.
What you mean?
Meaning to react in a positive way or to find a positive lesson, per se, and the struggle and the adversity is not a natural characteristic or thought process that we share or that we meditate on.
Why is that? Say again? Because we're too consumed.
Yeah.
We're too consumed of what's not possible. But it says, let a brother of low degree do what?
Rejoice.
Rejoice. Go ahead.
In that he is exalted.
In that he is what?
Exalted.
So what does some men understand, and what do some men don't understand? The ones that can rejoice, yes, sir.
Their season is coming.
Bingo. Bingo. The ones that can rejoice and not complain and not discharge blame and not make excuses and not point the finger and not look at my scenario as permanent is the ones that understand that this is just a season. It's not forever. It may not just be my time, but my time will come. Situations will be better. So it shows you that in order to be able to have this mentality, you have to understand how bad conditions, you can't stay fixed, and you can't have a mind frame that this is permanent. If you do, you'll never be able to rejoice in a bad situation. People that can rejoice in low times, they also are cognizant of the fact that I've had high times too. And I've had good times. And I don't expect good times to last forever. So bad times may come too. But when I'm in it and it sucks and everything's going against me and I'm barely able to survive, I also know what? Good is right around the corner.
Yeah.
I'm not tripping. I can still rejoice. I can still praise the Most High. I can still be thankful for my condition. Yes, sir. You know he can deliver you.
Yeah.
But what is that called? That's the difference between doubt versus faith. That's the difference. The ones that are faithful know that this is not permanent. The ones that's full of doubt can't see past the situation. They can't see past the condition. And my condition is so unfavorable to me, man, I just want to blame somebody, stone somebody, discharge blame. But while I'm doing that, I never change. I never fix. Nothing ever changes while I'm blaming people, looking who's at fault, and making excuses. Nothing ever changes for me.
I've been told that when I'm going through adversity that I'm growing, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
This is grown pains.
Yeah. Yeah, but if you have to think about that. How are you growing? If you're going through adversity and you're being told you're growing. You gotta give me this verse right here. Man.
You go with that one.
No, hold on, man. There's a verse I want to get just based on what Amiyaki said.
Question.
Yes, sir.
Is it wrong? Having to fake it until you make it?
If you fake it, is it sincere?
No, it's not.
It's not sincere.
Okay.
Then it's not truthful.
Yeah.
You know, because deep down inside, what's going on?
Right.
Okay. What? Think about this. Can I really fake it with the Most High?
No.
It said, "Be not deceived. The Most High is not mocked. Whatsoever man sow, that he shall also reap." So if I reap what I sow, if I'm giving fake sincerity, I will reap what? Fake sincerity. You know, there's no truth coming out of my situation. I get what I give. So I can't fake anything. I have to learn to change and alter my mentality when I'm in a situation that's unfavorable.
Well,
Yes, sir.
what I found is when you know that your season is coming, I mean, it's real. It's real in your life, and you can deal with a bunch of garbage, you know. But I have had people, you know, come up to me asking that, and I've also felt that, like, you know, every day ain't the best. You know, you have some garbage days, and sometimes you just got to put a smile on your face. You know? But I do know that once you come to realize in your heart of hearts that God has something for you in another season, it makes it much easier.
You know, when you're having a hard time, then that's when counsel is important. That's when confession is important. That's when you're not lying to yourself and the people around you, and you acknowledge the fact that I'm having a hard time, I'm struggling,
Right.
versus blaming everybody, cussing everybody out, and mad at the world because of my condition. I can sit back and say, you know what? I'm recognizing that I'm losing this battle. I'm losing this battle of positivity. If I don't have what it takes, then you have to borrow, you have to confess and borrow strength from people around you. Because there are those, man, let me get this, man. Man, you just said something else. Let me get this. Give me this right quick. Man, let me get this. It's in the book of Philo. Let me see. It's page. First of all, the verse I'm looking for, based on what Amiyati said, was talking about servants be patient in suffering. Somebody find that real quick and give me some time to find this real quick based on what the brother said right here. Yes.
Romans 5, verse 20. James 5:8.
Read that, bro.
Be also patient, establish your hearts for the coming of the Lord draweth nigh.
Yeah, read that, bro. Break that down. Give me some time to find this one point real quick. It's amazing what he just said right here. I just want to bring some context to it.
What was the verse?
James chapter 5, verse 8.
James 5 verse 8.
James chapter 5, verse 8. Be also patient. Establish your heart.
And the patience is really how long. We always say, how long can I wait? It's patience. But patience is how long can you wait with a positive mind? Because being negative and waiting is not patient. Being angry and waiting is not patient. Being depressed and waiting is not patient. Being dejected and waiting is not patience. And then quitting and then trying again, quitting, trying again is still not patience. Patience is how long can I maintain a pure, positive, hopeful, faithful, believing, most importantly, mindset. And that is what proves your patience.
Yeah.
And on that definition, establish. To establish means to fix, to settle in a state for permanence. He's also saying, I have to convince myself to the point where nothing can waver my faith. No adversity can put me in a situation where I'm questioning if my path and the life I'm choosing is the correct one. No matter adversity, no matter situation, circumstance, to drop me so emotionally low. Well, now I doubt if the Most High has my best interest in heart.
Because that means my faith isn't permanent.
Exactly. It's not fixed. Yes, sir.
Definition of patience, point 2.
Okay. Read it.
Not easily provoked, calm under the sufferance of injuries or offenses.
It don't
Not
mean it don't mean that you don't feel what you're going through. But read the middle part. It says not. It says
calm under the sufferance.
stop. Calm under suffering. It means I don't start to operate and think extreme. What we do is when we're in the midst of a challenge or a trial or a storm, we start to entertain extreme thinking. Extreme thinking, therefore, must be a sign of the loss of virtue. I'm thinking this extreme because I'm losing patience. I'm thinking this extreme because I'm losing faith. I'm thinking this extreme because I'm at the very end of my life. I'm thinking extreme because I'm deficient in something. So when we get extreme in our thoughts, we don't say, I'm extreme because I'm deficient, or I'm breaking, or I'm being tossed to and fro. We just say, I feel strongly about this concept. So go back to the scripture one more time just to clear it up and clean it up, make it clear.
James 5:8. Be also patient. Establish your heart.
So I'm supposed to be patient, which means I have to have a positive mindset and maintain calm and resilience. The only way you can maintain resilience is if you maintain your virtue or your fight or your faith or your belief or your hope. That's the only thing that keeps you calm.
Okay.
And then it says about faith, what does it say?
Calm under the sufferance of injuries or offenses.
So despite injuries, despite drama and problems, I'm not allowing outside circumstances to dictate my belief. That's a sign of a person that truly is operating in that positive mindset. Chapter 1. I'm not letting the eviction notice. I'm not letting the repo man. I'm not letting the I'm gonna divorce you most situation. I'm not letting the I'm about to lose everything situation. I'm not letting these scenarios that are real scenarios dictate my belief in the Most High.
Now, you had talked about, Moselle, about, like you said, when you're going through it, it's real,
Yeah.
right? And sometimes it's overwhelming,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
But there's an ability that I'm supposed to pull from, and that's what I was talking about, pulling from the people around you.
Yeah.
And just read this. I found what I was looking for, but this is just to get in context. Read this right here, page 528, and line 112. Read that.
John. For to whom else will those men do good?
It says for to whom else those men will do good. Read on.
Who neglect their nearest relations.
It says if I can't treat my own relatives right, my own family, talking about the same people I share the same lineage, name, and blood with. These are my blood relatives, and also my parents. It says, can you expect anybody to do good who can't even treat people right that come from their own blood? Right? It said man is incapable sometimes of treating his own relatives correctly, his own family correctly. Read on.
And those who have bestowed their greatest gifts upon them.
Go ahead.
Some of which are of so great a character that they do not admit of any requital.
It says, and some of us have been treated so well by family members that there is no way to pay them back. They've done so much for us that it's without number, and we can't even pay them back. Read on.
For how can he who has been begotten by a parent and requital again beget his parents?
It says for who can begotten by a parent that's given their life for their child begin to pay back their parents for what they've done and all the sacrifices that they made for their child? Who could even pay their parents back? The sacrifice of a parent is extensive and without number. And you'll never really know because they won't really tell you the things that they had to go through to take care of you. They never will tell you the extreme measures and decisions that they have to make in order for you to function. Some parents will, for the sake of their children, have their children eat the last food, and then the parents just say, I'll find something to eat myself. And whatever food is in the cabinet or the kitchen or the cupboard will go to the children, and they will just go without. So quite often, parents will go without and wearing the same clothes, wearing the same old shoes, wearing worn out underwear. Just parents will make so many sacrifices that children have no idea about what it took to raise those kids. And there's nothing you could do to pay those parents back because they don't even know. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was gonna tell you, that reminds me of a story like when I was little. My dad said he used to take his finger and run around the pot just to taste the macaroni because we all asked for seconds. So as I got older, he would take me out to eat and he'd be like, you can get anything on the menu that you wanted. So I remembered that as what he used to just run his hand around there as a child. And I'd be like, just give me a hamburger and french fries, the cheapest thing on the menu. But he was so good, he would say, nah, you still go get what you want.
But this is the same man you said that only ate the residue around the macaroni dish, macaroni pot. And that's all he had to eat was just whatever came on his finger going around the macaroni pot. But how can you, but the point is, how can you pay him back for that? Because he just told you one of the things that he did. Who knew all the sacrifices that he made? He probably didn't tell you some of the illegal things he did to take care of it. You know that. But read on.
It says, since nature has bestowed on parents this special endowment.
It says nature has put on parents that they'll do anything for their kids. It says nature put that on a parent's heart that I got to take care of my kids no matter what. Even if I'm not eating, if I'm not taken care of, these kids got to eat. Read on.
In respect of their children, which can never be required.
It said which can never be paid back and recompensed. Because there's no telling what our parents did for us to function. Or the type of jobs that they suffered. Yeah. And humiliation and the type of jobs that they took just so they could keep a household and keep food on the table. Read on.
On which account it is becoming to a man.
It says on which account it becoming to a man, meaning it should be instilled in a man. It should, if a person is truly growing in who they are as a man and is about some actual substance, if a person can recognize sacrifices and they're made of some type of substance or appreciation or thankfulness. Read on.
On which account it is becoming to a man to feel exciting indignation when people, because they are unable to make a full return for the benefits which they have received, do not choose to make the very slightest. To whom I might say, with perfect propriety, that wild beasts even. It says
some men, unfortunately, will not even think about paying their parents back. Not even think about restoring or showing appreciation for the parent sacrifices. He said some men, are unlike beasts. He said because even wild beasts, go ahead.
That wild beasts even must be made tame towards men.
It says even wild beasts are made tame towards men. Read on.
And indeed, I have frequently known instances of lions being domesticated.
Philo said he's seen lions become domesticated. Well, we know George Foreman had lions. We also know Mike Tyson had lions too, and he had tigers.
Right.
He had tigers. Yes, sir.
And over in the Middle East, a lot of the sheiks have lions
In their palaces. But Mike Tyson actually used to sleep in the same bed with both of his 600-pound tigers. They were 600 pounds each, and they both slept in the bed with him. And then they would fight over who could sleep closest to him. So sometimes he had to get up and slap them around because they would fight on who could sleep next to him. That's 1,200 pounds of animal. Man killers. He said he knows how even some animals like lions have been domesticated. What else?
And bear.
And bears have been domesticated. Have been made to be household pets. Read on.
And leopards.
And leopards. Read on.
And made gentle.
And it says, and they were made what?
Gentle.
Like a house cat. What's the whole point here? Read on.
Not only to those who fed them.
It says, but they became gentle not only to the people that fed them. Read on.
By reason of their gratitude for necessaries.
It says so necessaries.
Necessary.
It says they became peaceful and docile because of the people. They didn't bite the hand that fed them. They were peaceful and pleasant, not just out of appreciation to the people that fed them. Read on.
But also to others, on account, in my opinion, of their resemblance to their feeders.
It says, but also on account of the other people that had the same spirit as the people that was feeding. They were kind to them too. Read on.
For it is always well that what is worse.
It says, and it should be looked at as this. How can an animal show appreciation, but a human can't? How can a beast that's known for killing mankind and being manhunters show appreciation? He said, but we're as people worse than animals because we can't even appreciate the Most High for the good that he's done once we hit a little wall of bad. What's the whole point? We get so consumed with the conditions that we show no appreciation and thankfulness for the one that's been taking care of us the whole time. All the good works and deeds of the Most High goes out the window as soon as we hit some hard times. As soon as we suffer a little bit and things are not so pleasant in our life, we forget the Most High. The Most High go out the window. We stay fixated on the current condition. He said, but damn. Read that again.
It said, for it is always well that what is worse,
which is the animals, which is the tigers, lions, and bears, leopards, read on,
should follow what is better.
It said it's always well that the animals or the beast should follow what is better. But in this case, he's showing how what?
From a hope of deriving improvement. From a hope
of deriving improvement. Now, we can even see animals that are thankful. So at least if I'm in a situation where I have no positive perspective on my condition and my situation, the first mind frame that I should be in is like, damn, so animals can actually show appreciation.
Yeah.
So that means that I should be in a mentality that if I can't think positive, that if I can't conjure up good, and I can't show appreciation to the Father, and I'm overwhelmed with in my piss poor condition that I see my life as, then I better at least be able to learn how to what?
Follow what is better.
Then I should be able to pull somebody to me that has a better outlook than me. Yeah. Then I should be able to hold on to somebody that has a more positive perspective than me. That if I'm unthankful and I'm angry at the fact that my situation sucks, then I got to start pulling on people that have better outlooks. I got to start pulling on people and using people that have more positive perspectives than me. Then I should be putting my situation or myself in a situation where I'm following those that have the more pure, peaceful outlook. If I can't see purity or if I can't see positivity. That's the whole point. And if I don't got it mentally to see the good in my scenario, I better start pulling positive people around me. But what do?
Attack conductor.
No, we attack the conductor, but we pull people that share the piss poor perspective. We align ourselves with other people that have a shitty outlook, excuse my language, that we have. Yeah. We align ourselves with individuals that have the same disbelieving, full of doubt perspective, that's unthankful and can't see any good, and all I can see is bad. And all we do is connect with those type of mind frames, and we look for those people to divulge our information to and to align ourselves with. He said it should be that those that are the worst should what?
For it is always well that what is worse should follow what is better.
Then I should follow that which is what?
Better.
Who should I be following if I hit a wall and I really want to blame man? I really want to blame God, and I really hate my scenario. What should I do at that point if I don't got it?
Hang around the pillars of the organization.
Hang around pillars of the organization. What else?
Find an example of faith.
Finding an example of faith.
Yeah.
What else?
Sorry, but that is why the scripture says iron sharpens iron, but that's the other half it don't usually say. So it sharpeneth the countenance of his friend.
Of his friend. Right.
That countenance is his outlook.
Is his outlook.
So you got to find a sharper example in you to lift you back up, so he can give you what he had.
Yes, sir.
I was gonna say just on that high point, but it also comes with humility too. Cause I gotta be humble enough to tell myself, you know what, my methods don't work, but let me be humble enough to sit back here and ask somebody else so that way I can fix my problem. But because I got so much pride, I'm not able to sit back here and be at a lower state and be like, hey brother, can you help me out? Or hey brother, how do you do this so that way I can fix my problem? You got so much pride, you don't even want to do that.
And that's the whole point. We don't pull people that have a better perspective than us next to us.
Yeah.
We pull people that have just as equally as bad an outlook
Yeah.
and sorry of a perspective and full of doubt and questions and full of excuses and full of blaming. And those are the people that we align ourselves with.
Yeah.
We call them individuals when we hit tough times. We don't call the people that say, man, you tripping. Why are you thinking this way? Why are you believing that this situation is permanent? You can't see no good? You're ungrateful. You're unthankful. We ain't calling nobody to actually check our thoughts. We want people to be consumed, overwhelmed, and equal with our negative perspective. We want friends that are just as equally negative as we are. Because I can bitch, I can complain, and I can blame, and I don't feel no guilt. And they say, yep, that's right. I think the same way you think. Right. I agree. I concur. This sucks. But you know what? Then they're looking to blame somebody. So when we do hit those walls, I'm only going here to explain how we should conduct ourselves when we do hit those walls and life becomes challenging. It should be automatically ingrained in us to say, you know what, if I don't got the positivity needed to get through the situation, let me get positive people around me. Let me get believers around me. Let me get people that inspire me around me, that I will let inspire me around me. Because ultimately, if I don't, I'm a prisoner of my own excuses here. I become a prisoner of the situation. And what I tell myself, that nothing's good, nothing's positive, you want to believe that forever? Do you think any good is coming from that perspective? No.
And that's exactly why, like you say, nothing gets any better.
Nothing ever changes.
You're right, because you want to be there. But it had to be there.
It didn't have to be that way. That's why Christ has to talk to this man the way he's talking to him. Go back and finish that. Let that go. And go back to that. Go back to that James chapter 5 verse 8, and then somebody get Ecclesiastes chapter 9 verse 10.
5 and 8?
Yeah, we was in St. John chapter 5 verse 8.
St. John, chapter 5, verse 8 reads.
Somebody else get Ecclesiastes in the Bible 9 and 10.
Ready?
Yep.
St. John, chapter 5, and verse 8 reads. Yahushua said unto him, Rise, take up thy bed and walk.
Do what you thought was impossible. Go against those excuses that you were believing. You know what he had to do? He has to force this man to take action. Because if nobody forces you to take action, you're going to be a prisoner of excuses and blame and hate because you hate the situation.
Year after year.
Yeah, you're going to soak in your sorrow. So that's why it's important that we take action. Next brother, next verse.
Ecclesiastes chapter 9 and verse 10. Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might.
Why is the Bible telling us whatever we're doing, do with all our strength? Why is that so important?
Don't miss an opportunity.
Yeah.
Never know when people can see.
Yeah. Don't miss an opportunity. What else? Why is it so important that you do everything with all your strength? Yes, sir.
Because it makes you a better person, and it also allows you to stop looking for little pacifiers when you get down and hanging around people that give you that extra cradle when you really don't need it.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
I say, could it be so you won't be fake about it?
You won't be fake about it. But what? Yes, sir.
God is basically looking at you. You're being tested. I'll keep it short.
All those things are correct. But based on what we just read it again.
Con. Ecclesiastes chapter 9 and verse 10. Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might.
You have to do everything with all your strength because the excuses are equally as strong. Because the desire to want to blame people is equally as strong. Because the negative outlook is equally as strong. That's why everything that you touch when it comes to making changes, it requires all of your strength because that's how strong excuses are. Because what we don't understand, according to Romans, get Romans chapter 7, verse 25. Start at verse 21. This is what we don't understand. The Most High, when it comes to making changes and fixing things about you, you have to apply all of your strength. Because you are, whether we believe it or not, in a spiritual tug of war. You know how easy it is for me to listen to excuses? You know how easy it is for me to listen to blame or I want to blame people for my problems? You know how easy it is to blame people, not just people. You know how easy it is to blame God for your scenario?
Yep. A lot easier than trying to fight.
It's easier than fighting. That's why you got to do, when it comes to making changes, that's why it requires all of your strength. Because you have to offset what is natural. What is natural is to blame. What is natural is to make excuses. What is natural is to say nothing's going to change. That's so easy to do. If you don't give all your strength, you're going to fall back into excuse world. Read that. Romans chapter 7, verse 21.
Romans 7 and 21. I find in the law that when I would do good, evil is present with me.
If you don't use all your strength, what's going to get the best of you?
Evil.
How strong then is evil?
As strong as
That means your good and your effort must outrun evil. That means your desire to change has to be stronger than your desire to stay the same. Because if you don't fight and put up a fight that's stronger than staying the same or making excuses, you will fall back to making excuses. There will be no change. Yes, sir.
and I'd even go to say, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I would go to say the world is even stronger than you personally. The only way you can defeat that is by staying on God's path, staying with God, you know, following his biblical direction, because that's the only way you can do it. That's the only reason. That's
Well,
the only way.
the only way I would correct you is say the scripture says, greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world.
Right.
That means there's a spirit that just needs to be exercised in you that's stronger than the pulls of the world.
Right.
But if you don't exercise that spirit, then you will give in to the pulls of the world. And this is why the scripture says, walk in the spirit, and you should not fulfill the lust of the flesh. That's why in order for you to overcome the world, you got to walk in the spirit.
Right.
But if you don't walk in the spirit, then you will be succumbed and given in to the pulls of the world. Yes, sir.
And you have to be around like-minded individuals to create that world versus being part of the world that we live in.
Where anything goes. But you're right.
But walking in the spirit is
Yes.
walking with God.
Yes, but walking in the spirit is walking in instruction.
So it means you have to try to keep the commandment, I think, for as many as you could keep, along with dietary laws.
True, but he said clearly, he said a lot of it being in the spirit is the ability to follow instruction.
Yeah.
Because not eating pork will not relate to your faith battle.
I'm saying biblical laws and dietary laws. You have to look into them and study them more and see how many of them you can keep.
Yeah, but per situation,
Right.
Yeah,
by situation, if you're going to
What you're saying when you say the laws, you're just talking about being obedient.
right. Then-
But obedience comes in many forms, because it's more than just dietary laws to be obedient by. The dietary laws will only be a factor if you have a desire to slap your mouth on some salami or some Canadian bacon. And if you're getting weak, then you need to go to the law for that. But as far as just not wanting to think positive, and I want to blame people for my situation, The dietary law ain't gonna do nothing for
No,
that.
that's the.
No, but this is why I'm explaining to him that yes, you have to be obedient and follow instructions and open for instructions. Because if not, you will give in to just the scenario, the conditions, the present misfortune is what we fall by. We fall because we fail in our outlook because we're too wrapped up in this situation that I'm in. I don't see no way out. So why think good? Nothing's possible. I doubt anything's ever going to change. So why change? It doesn't matter. I've been this way for a long time. There's no hope for me. You got to break that out. This is what we fall by. The hopelessness. Those are strongholds, but it's the imagination. It's in the mind. So in order to break what's in the mind, you got to recognize what you're in. And that's why we're here. Read that again.
Romans 7:21. If I find in the law that when I would do good, evil is present with me.
That's why change takes all of your strength. Because just as bad as you want to change, there's something just as strong, equally as strong, telling you not to change. And what is it? The desire to blame people, excuses, and unbelief, and defective knowledge. All these are reasons that are telling me, you know what? Nothing's going to change. Why try? I shouldn't have to try. I don't think I have to work this hard to try to be different. I've tried to be a better person.
Yeah.
Or I've tried to have a positive outlook about my condition. But my condition is so extreme, I don't think anybody could, if they were in my shoes, come out of my situation. But this is when the defect gets the best of you. This is when the handicap gets the best of you. And this is why we read St. John 5:7 about the man that was in the condition for 38 years, because what was he full of? Excuses and blame and doubt. But that's not something that's far removed from us. We fall victim to the same things. That's why in order to change that, it takes all of your strength to change. To be a better person, to be in the spirit, you have to use all your strength. If not, evil's right there. It's right next door to you. As soon as you come out your house, that desire to go back to the same person that you are, it's waiting right at your doorstep. Hold on 1 second. I want to read this. I want to get through it. Read. It's at your doorstep, bro. As soon as you come out the house, you know what? I bet you everybody ain't hungry like I'm hungry.
Yeah.
I bet you everybody ain't in my situation.
I'm the only one going through what I'm going.
I'm the only one going through this, and shit, my life is unfair. Everybody else's life is.
It works for you. It don't work for me.
Yeah. You know how that's so easy to be in a negative state of mind? You know how easy that is?
Very.
That's why if you're not trying to change with all your strength, you just automatically by default gonna be evil and make excuses.
It makes sense.
Read.
Romans 7:21. If I find in the law that when I would do good, evil is present with me.
Read.
For I delight in the law of the Most High.
It said, but my delight has to be where?
In the law of the Most High.
And this is when the law of the Most High and being obedient to his way of thinking is beneficial for me. Like you were saying, Stan. This is when being obedient to the laws and his way of thinking benefits me more than my way of thinking. If I listen to me, I'm not going to make it. If I listen to me, we're not going to get out of bed. We might not even go to work today. If I listen to me, I'm going to call in. If I listen to me, I want a divorce. If I listen to me, I hate you. You get on my nerves. If I listen to me, it's all your fault.
Why live?
Why do anything? That's why you can't listen to you. You got to do everything in your power not to listen to you. Because you're in a spiritual tug of war. And in order to win this tug of war, it takes all of your strength. If you don't use all your strength in this tug of war, you will fall by your own demise and own doubt and fears and defective knowledge. Read on. I want to get through this.
Come. For I delight in the law of the Most High after the inward man.
He said, because I care more about becoming a better man on the inside than my present bad condition. Changing the inside man is more important than the situation that I'm in that's against me, that's unfavorable. Change has to be priority. Read on.
Verse 23.
but I see another law in my members.
He said, but there's something else that's fighting against me. Read.
Is warring against the law of my mind.
It says the things that I want to do that I know is right. I don't want to blame people around me. I don't want to just have a desponding, pessimistic outlook and say I hate everybody and hate everything and everything around me sucks.
Some reject all the help I get.
And look at everybody as evil.
Yeah.
I don't want to be this way, but why am I this way? Why am I this way? He says, because you don't realize that you're in a spiritual war. What is a war? It's a struggle between two opponents, two opposing forces. The desire to make excuses is equally as strong as changing. The desire to blame people for my problems in my life is just as strong as thinking positive. You better recognize what's in the ring. Who's in the ring with you?
So it sounds like training is needed.
Right. And if I don't got it, I should be following, like we read in follow. I should be following somebody that has a better perspective. That means the more that I'm susceptible to losing my daily battles, I got to be that much more attached to somebody that don't think like me, that thinks better than me, more positive than me. Read on.
Come. It says, warring against the law of my mind and bringing me into captivity of the law.
Quitting is always trying to bring me into captivity. I always want to quit. I want to blame. I want to hate. I want to be angry. And I want to complain. And I want to make excuses. All these things are in the ring with me. That's why it's important to understand what you're in. And if you don't try with all your strength to change, you will never change. Because you're getting jumped on by all these other spirits. Yes, sir.
When you say that, it reminds me of Ephesians 6:12.
Kind of. Putting on the whole armor of God.
And just before that, we worried.
Yeah, we're kind of. Absolutely. Recognizing that, though. Read on.
Come. And bringing me into captivity to the law of sin.
And it says, there's always something trying to pull me back to what?
The law of sin.
Law of sin is a negative outlook. Blaming people and saying it's all your fault. Yeah, it's easy, man. That sin is powerful, man. Those spirits are giants. Those are giants, bro. They're strong.
Yeah.
And they start off first thing in the morning.
They're never later.
Those spirits start off, they always on time and they get up early. They get up around the same time you get up.
They never said 30 phone calls.
This is stupid.
Yeah.
That first thought to say, man, this is stupid.
That's the first one.
This is a holiday. That thought is a giant, bro. That thought is 7 feet tall. The minute you say this is stupid, or you tell somebody they're stupid, that's a heavy thought. You know what? Or it's your fault. Man, those are heavy thoughts. You're not ready to go in the ring. You don't recognize that you're in a fight every day. You're in a fight for your positivity. You're in a fight from overcoming your handicaps. You don't even realize that you're in a wheelchair in the spirit. You're fighting to get your legs back. Read on.
Come. And bring me into captivity to the law of sin, which is in my members.
Which is where?
In my members.
It's in the flesh. The war is between the spirit and the flesh. Your mind versus what your flesh is telling you. The flesh is talking just as loud as the spirit. This is why it takes all your strength to change. Read on.
Oh, wretched man that I am.
He calls himself a what?
Wretched man.
He calls himself a wretched man. What verse you on?
Verse 24.
Give me Ephesians 4:27.
Ephesians chapter 4.
And hold that in Romans 7.
Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 7 read. Ready?
Yep.
But unto every one of us is given grace according to the measure of the gift of Yahushua.
Is that 4:27?
47.
I want
27.
I want 27, bro.
Slaki. Ephesians chapter 4 verse 27. Neither give place
to the devil.
How do you not give place to the devil?
It's a great question because people don't even know I had to interrupt a little because you said, how do you give place to the devil? People don't even acknowledge they give the devil a place.
They don't even
You
know.
gave him a place.
Yeah.
He didn't barge in there. Right? He didn't sit there and kick your door down and say, you're going to smoke this. He didn't say that. He didn't sit there and say, you're going to be filled with this mind today. We obviously were giving place.
Yeah. You know, you give place to the devil because you told yourself, how come nobody's helping me? You, even by having that thought, who did you let in? You let Mr. Satan in.
Yeah.
Satan is in the building because you said in your house, how come nobody's helping me?
Like, thank you.
I said,
Somebody called.
Satan was like, hey man, you rang? You rang? Did you call me? I was waiting for somebody to unlock the door. You just gave me everything I needed to come in your house. Your first complaint, let him in the house. Your first complaint, let him in. When you said, how come nobody's helping me? This is what the lame man said out of his own mouth while he was in that condition for 38 years. He was letting Satan in. Satan had him by the cojones.
Yeah.
You know why? Yes, sir.
That's like him saying, well, shoot, let me let you know the way. All of a sudden, you start filling with all these thoughts that just feed into that.
Yeah.
Instead of fighting against that.
You don't fight against some thought. You don't need people like Dawiyah just said. People don't even realize when they let Satan in.
Yeah.
Because you don't even recognize that you're in a spiritual war.
Yeah.
But when you open your mouth and you're mad at your conditions and you tell yourself, nobody's helping me, who did you let in your mind? Satan. When you say it's your fault I'm in this condition, who did you let in your mind? When you make excuses for not changing, who are you influenced by? Satan. You don't even know it. Yes, sir.
Me and Donnie, I was talking about this in the car. It's when we say these words and when we say this rhetoric in our mind, it's like we accept it's like a part of our personality. We don't recognize that it's an outside voice influencing our behavior. We think it's us talking to us, not knowing it's a spirit talking to us. Make it short.
Kind. And because we're oblivious and we're ignorant to the fact of how strong these spirits are, this is why change takes all your strength. That's why the Bible says, whatever thou find thy hand so doing, do it with all your strength. You have to apply all your strength to what you're doing because Satan is always waiting to counterattack. He's always waiting to counter whatever it is you're trying to do moving forward in the spirit. Yes, sir.
Scripture said that the man thinking so easy. That's how serious it is when you got to fight these thoughts. Because if not, you give in to that becomes you.
What if you've been having these thoughts all your life?
That's all.
What if all your life you've always been blaming people? What if all your life you've been making excuses? What about all your life you've been saying, ain't nobody helping me, I got to figure this out by myself?
That becomes your truth. That becomes your reality. You know, even Esau recently discovered that your physiology or your psyche starts to change the more you start meditating on certain thoughts. You'll get sicker. Your reality starts to become realistic. I'm meditating so much on these negative thoughts. But the Bible's been said. That's why the Most High said, not Most High, but Scripture said in Proverbs that a foolish thought is sin. Yeah. The thought of foolishness is sin. That's how grave it is to meditate on negative thoughts. You're offending the Most High, but you're also corrupting yourself in the process.
You know, I know it's true, but I didn't know it was true. There's somebody I'm married to. I ain't gonna boost her up, but I'm just gonna give her a little credit. She rarely gets sick. Because she tells herself, I said, are you sick? I'm not sick. She don't believe it. She tells herself I'm not sick. She can have boogers, she can be coughing, she can be sneezing. I said, are you sick? She never acknowledges that she's sick. Never. She said, I'm not sick. I'm never sick. I was like, hey, you know what I'm saying? But I don't have that mentality. When I get sick, I be like, I'm sick. Oh man, I'm sick. Oh, I'm sick. I need some medicine. I need some medicine. Oh, I'm sick. Oh man, I don't feel good. I'm sick. I'm putting it out there. Just on Elisha's point.
You're right.
Just recently, they said people that speak out loud and say that they're not sick activates the vagus nerve.
Yep.
The vagus nerve is the large nerve that runs down the middle of your chest, out of your heart, into your organs. And when it activates the vagus nerve stimulates the lymphatic system, and it stimulates the white blood cells in the body that attack sickness. So so it's true science. So I believe it. You know, when you speak things into existence, but sometimes I just need the scientific evidence to back it up. You know what I'm saying? I just need that extra. You know, when the white scientists say it, I bet
But they know that.
there's some truth about it. Yes, sir.
Well, scripture says
Right. But when you tell yourself you sick, you're telling yourself that. I didn't know the science behind it. I didn't know that when you actually speak out loud and you tell yourself, I'm not sick, something inside is being activated that actually starts fighting against, sicknesses.
And it's a study. It's a scientific branch. It is discovered. The term for it's called epigenetics. It's called epigenetics. I'm just going to read the definition. Epigenetics is the study of how your behaviors and environment can cause changes that affect how your genes work. So your genes are working. Like, let's say there's two people, they're twins, but they have different lives, but they have different conversations, different thought patterns, different habits, different rituals. Then they end up having different gene expression. Well, why is this? It's epigenetics. You have the power. The whole lie that, this disease runs my family so rampantly, it does. It may run your family, but if you break the quote unquote curse, or you break the quote unquote issue, or you break the sickness with action, with correct thinking, and with correct approach, all of a sudden your genes express a different expression. It won't express that certain sickness or issue.
On that point, you look at there's been studies on children development and children psychology, and the correlation between parents who positively uplift their children. They take different approaches in punishment. They call it soft parenting. Now, there's an extremity to that. I'm not sitting here saying that never deal with you, just punish your child. But there's a science and there is a skill, a spirit behind constantly uplifting or exhorting your child. When they make a mistake, explain them what the mistake was and exhort them. You can do it. You can overcome it. You can become this person. You can become confident. You are confident. Saying these things, they actually adopt these personalities. And then when they go to school, they carry a more confident being to them.
Yeah, you can look at there's one podcast called Pivot, and with these ex-football players, they had Des Bryant, the receiver from the old receiver from the Cowboys, and he said that he's breaking generational curses, and he starts going into tears. He starts bawling, he starts crying right on the show, and he says that he's doing things that wasn't done to him.
Yeah.
He says every night before he goes to bed, he speaks life into his children. He tells them all the things that they're capable of, all the things that's possible, all the things they can do and that they can overcome. He said he has this prayer and he speaks life over his children. And as he's explaining this, he's bawling in tears. He said, man, these things, as he's crying, he said, these things were never done to me. So you know what was told to him? You just like your daddy. You probably ain't nothing. You ain't gonna make it. Who you think you are? You just like the rest of them. Life and death is in where?
The power of the tongue.
Is in the power of the tongue. So when you tell yourself things that are impossible, people believe it and yourself believes it. And then you let the devil in. Because you spoke death. Because you spoke impossibility. Because you spoke doubt. Because you spoke fear. Or you spoke hate. But I didn't even know the science behind it, the epigenetics behind it. I didn't know the physiological changes behind it. I didn't know that me and what I say actually has a positive or negative repercussion based upon what I let out of my mouth. And you got something?
Yeah, it's like most of the counseling we do or we are involved in, and we always talk about the things my mom said the things that was done to me, people who weren't there, people who said this. We always talk about all the negative things that were said, negative things that were done, actions, speech, and we spend so much time consumed in that we don't understand that there's also like power in positive speech. We overlook it.
Oh, we overlook it. We just don't know it. I think we're ignorant to it. We're ignorant to it, but not realizing. Remember, how was the earth made? The Most High said what? Let there be light. He spoke everything that we see with our eyes today. All was manifested by speech. So how powerful is speech? That's why it says life and death is in the power of the tongue. It's very powerful. So what we say does have control and manifest different spirits over us. You know, some of us just don't have the evidence. And that was the definition of doubt. Some of us just are not, we have a defective knowledge or evidence that doesn't persuade us towards belief. It's a defect that we've had since childhood that was either passed on to us by our parents or fed to us by society or fed to us by our own fears, but something has defected us to where now we have to go equally as hard, if not harder, and more fervent in order to break everything that's been put over us from the outside and on the inside, from what we tell ourselves in our imagination and what we let other people impress upon us. Good or bad relationships, good or bad parenting, good or bad friendships. You got to deal with all this in your head. You got to think about and maneuver through all the things that you were told weren't going to work. And all the things you told yourself that wasn't going to work, or this is no good. That's why he said, give no place for who? Because the devil's always trying to come in at an angle and facilitate himself some space to dictate your perspective. Who had that in Romans chapter 7 verse 20? I think you had that. Read Romans chapter 7 verse 24. Who had Ephesians 4?
I did.
Okay, after this, read verse 25. Then I want to read verse 28.
Romans 7 and 24. O wretched man that I am, who shall deliver me from the body of the dead?
Read on.
I thank the Most High.
He says, I'm thankful, though, that I'm not in this situation permanently. This is what Paul is saying. I'm thankful that my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, has given me an alternative way of living and have given me an alternative mentality and an alternative lifestyle with an alternative point of view and perspective. That's why he says, I'm thankful to the Most High that I'm no longer a prisoner of my own doubts and excuses and complaints and fears and blames and impossibilities. Read.
I thank the Most High through Yahweh our Lord. So then, with the mind of myself.
He says, so with the what?
So with the mind in myself.
He says, so with the mind in myself. Read.
Serve the law of the Most High.
Go ahead.
But with the flesh, the law of sin.
He says, yes, I'm subject to the flesh, but I can still be in the flesh like we all are. But the flesh doesn't have victory. I'm thankful that I'm in the flesh and there's no way around the flesh pulling on us, but I have an alternative form of thinking. I have something I can lean on to pull me out of the flesh. And the only way to do it is to serve the Lord in spirit while still having to push this flesh and pull this flesh out of its blame gaming or playing the blame game, playing the excuse making, or complaining that I ain't got no help. How come I got to do this by myself? Nobody's helping me. You got to get out of that. Read that, my wall.
Come. Ephesians chapter 4, verse 28 reads, let him that stole steal no more.
Yep. Read.
But rather let him labor, working with his hands, the things which is good.
How are you going to change what you're weak at? If I'm a kleptomaniac and I've been stealing because I feel like that's the only option I have, how am I going to change that? How am I change? If I've been stealing, how am I going to change the fact that I've been stealing?
Go around people who don't steal. Change your environment.
What reasons do I give myself to steal?
Justification.
What are my justifications to steal? Say again. Necessity. I need it.
They don't deserve it.
They don't deserve it.
It's easy. I'm down bad.
My child needs medicine.
I'm down bad.
It's already accounted for.
Talking about dog.
Money.
It's accounted. It's
already
accounted.
accounted for.
It's accounted for already.
They stole it from me.
They got they can afford more.
They stole it from me.
They can afford more.
I'm
It's insured, it won't hurt them.
so it's insured. It ain't gonna hurt them. They got insurance. Or I'm paying my ancestors back.
Yeah.
I'm stealing it because I'm getting revenge, getting reparations from my ancestors.
Yeah.
You know, all the bad they did to us. This the least they could do.
From a different neighborhood.
Yeah.
It don't matter.
They on stolen ground anyway.
Yeah.
So, or somebody put feeling entitled or in need. Yes, these are the reasons why a person will feel like they have the freedom or liberty to steal. But if I'm going to change that, then I have to go against what I tell myself that justifies me stealing. Ultimately, what will it need? What will I need to do? What does the Bible say that I need to do in order to stop from stealing? Read it again, my Waller.
Let him that stole steal no more.
So what the Bible's saying is, if I've been stealing and I've been telling myself all these reasons that everybody put forth as to why it's okay, the Bible says it's not okay. Don't do it. What does the Bible say as an alternative to what I justify as my freedom or my right or my liberty or my reasons why it's okay? What does the Bible say? Read.
But rather let him labor.
But let him do what?
Labor.
What does it take to change anything?
Labor.
What does it take to change any spirit?
Labor.
It takes what?
Labor.
It takes work. To change any spirit that you're weak to, you have to go to work. Meaning, if you don't labor, you're not going to change anything. You got to put the work in that goes against what you tell yourself. It says, let him labor with what?
Working with his hand.
It said, let him do what?
Working with his hand.
So is stealing justifiable?
No.
No. What the Bible's saying is, stop feeding yourself with the excuses that justifies you stealing. And we're just using this as one example of many that we feed ourselves with, to where we feel like it's okay to give into this action. He said it's not okay, but you have to counter this idea that you have, notion that you have, liberty that you think you have, whatever. You have to go against this with labor with what?
But rather let him labor, working with his hand.
Go ahead.
The things which is good.
They said let him convert his mentality by his own actions by doing the thing which is what?
Good.
So what's good in the eyes of the Most High? Going to work? No, going to work. So what is he saying? Should we just keep living with the excuses that we tell ourselves and justify our excuses? Or there's always some alternative work we could do that can counter the madness that we tell ourselves. There's always some work we can do. There's always something we could change. But change takes labor. Change takes work. You know what? If I've gotten good at stealing, and if I've gotten good at it, and it's easy for me, what's harder for me to do then? To not steal. Then actually going to work, scraping up the money to get what I want. What people don't realize either also is that when you steal from Walmart and there's shrink, they call that shrink, which is lost through theft or damage. What happens is when they look at the shrink loss and they tally it up at the end of the year, all they do is take that loss, that number, and they tack it on to next year's prices. So although you may feel like, man, this is easy, this is paid for, what you don't realize is I'm spreading that cost to everybody else. for everything that I steal. I'm spreading that cost to everybody else next year. And I'm wondering why next year's prices ain't this year's prices. And I'm wondering why bread ain't 99 cents no more. And that loaf of bread is down to $3.50.
For the good one,
Yeah.
no preservatives.
Yeah.
Or $7.
Yeah, the real stuff is
They're talking about bread used to be, you should get bread $2 for $1. It's, one loaf is $3.50. But you know what I feel like? That ain't gonna hurt nobody. But whatever you tell yourself, what he's saying is you got to counter that. We're just using this particular verse to explain the defects that we have and what spirit it takes to counter those defects. What does it take to counter some of? If I'm a liar and I'm comfortable and I've been used to telling lies, and I've been lying my whole life, and I'm used to it, what is it going to take to change me from being a liar? It's still going to take some work. It's still going to take some labor. Labor is required to make any change. Yes, sir. I'm sorry. You had something. You had something. I'm sorry. Okay, I thought you had your hand up. Somebody had their hand up. But
Oh no, I think I was referring to the Walmart scenario.
yeah.
Another consequence is they might not tag you for a couple of years, but they're also waiting to the amount of theft or the price is at a certain point where they can get you for a federal crime.
Right.
Because those are came for 15 years since you was a little kid still until you get $10,000. Then I'm gonna put you in the federal penitentiary.
Yeah, because it's just a Class C misdemeanor. It's just slap on the wrist. But once you get over like $300 or $500, now you're living with felony charges. And then their objective is to persecute to the full extent of the law. That's their objective.
and they have agents in the store acting like they're buying, but they're really watching.
They're really security.
Yeah,
They're really plainclothes security.
I met a brother.
They're not just secret shoppers.
They're watching you.
They're not secret shopping. They're secret
They're not
watching.
Yeah.
They just pop up. They just pop up out the blue. All you gotta do is act like you're gonna go to the back door. And it's all of a sudden this guy comes out of nowhere.
Yeah. Let me see you got receipt.
Yeah. But the whole
You remember the kids come out Abercrombie when Abercrombie was the rage out, and it would always be some regular looking guy, and he just skinny guy just chased the guy, he would grab him. He would like would do a football.
Yeah, we do a football tackle.
He'd do a football tackle to do and tackle him in the mall in front of everybody. But he was actually
He was body slamming.
he would buy
But he had on flip flops. He had on Abercrombie flip flops. And he had on Abercrombie shorts that were torn at the bottom.
yeah.
Because he had to spend $100 on some shorts that look worn already.
Yes.
Because that's what they were selling. It's already kind of got some holes and ragtag, and it was $100 Abercrombie shorts.
Yeah.
But they'll come out in plain clothes, flip flops, chase you down and tackle you in the mall. But the point is, if I'm used to doing something or giving myself to something that I need to break, that the Most High is saying, this is not a justification to do anything. What is it going to take to break those things that we consider justification? It's going to take labor. You got to work to fight you. You got to work to fight your excuses. That's the whole point. It takes labor, man. It takes labor to beat you. If you don't beat you, Satan going to be next to you, patting you on the back saying, good job. Keep lying. Keep doing what you're doing. You're doing great. Keep blaming people. Keep making excuses. And keep saying you ain't got no help. You're doing a great job. Satan going to pat you on the back. That's why he says, whatever thou find thy hand so doing, do it with all your might. In order to change anything, this is why it takes full strength. Because Satan is always there to promote foolishness.
Yeah.
Finish that?
Working with his hands the things which is good, that he may have to give to him that needeth.
And also, if you work hard enough, you'll not only acquire enough for yourself, but you'll acquire enough to do what?
For to give to him that needeth.
You also have enough to give to him that needed. What we do is opposite of that. We only think about self, and we don't think about nobody else. And we're extreme in our perspective. But he said, the Most High said, if you do what's right and counter the pulls of the flesh or the weaknesses of the mind or your own compulsions, you'll actually defeat those spirits, and you'll have a testimony that can strengthen somebody else that's also falling victim to that same idea or compulsion or weakness. That's the benefit of fighting you. You can actually start helping other people when you fight yourself. So there's benefits to it. Next, brother, get Romans chapter 13, verse 14. Sorry. Romans chapter 13, verse 14.
Romans chapter 13, verse 14.
Yeah. Ain't correct. Give me that definition. Read that.
But put ye on the Lord.
That's why it says, put ye on the what?
But put ye on the Lord Yahushua.
You got to put on the mind of Christ. Read on.
And make not provision for the flesh.
Give me the definition of provision.
Provision. It says the act of providing or make.
What we have, what we don't understand, and it's very it's beneficial to us, very much so, in the spirit and for development's sake, and for overcoming our weaknesses and crap that's in us. It's very beneficial for us to identify the things that we have built in us. Now,
Well, we can't. You never say those things.
right. That's what we don't say, because we don't identify. What he's saying is that people come with built-in excuses. Just like when you buy a car, it already got rims on it. It came from the manufacturer that way. Just like when you buy a house and it's got a tile entryway, and they got stainless steel cabinetry or appliances, and they got floor to ceiling drapes, curtains, and they got room to room tile, Spanish tile. It was built in that way. It was already built into the house. What we don't realize is the things that are already built in us. Everybody has some things that are pre-programmed, that are built in by way of the flesh. These are the things that was already built in you. He says that's why you have to put on Christ, because you have to fight the things that are built in already. These are additional things that we come with as humans that we didn't even know we were weak to. Get that definition.
Okay. It says provision. It says the act of providing or making previous preparation.
How many things have we told ourselves that it's okay to think this way? How many excuses that have already been pre-provided for, that we made in advance, why I don't have to go out of my comfort zone, and I don't have to change anything about me, and I'm good the way I am? How many of these things are already pre-programmed in us, pre-made, prefabricated, pre-installed? How many excuses do we have that are already in us? It's not just what's on the outside of us. It's what's in us that you have to fight against. You already got weakness that's pre-programmed in you. Because when you're born in the flesh comes with pre-programmed weakness and excuses. You're born telling yourself what you can and cannot do. And the older you get, the worse it gets. The older you get in the world, the worse you start believing in what's possible. That's why Christ said, if any man gonna come to the kingdom, he said he has to come like a what? Like a child. Why a child? Because they're naive. They're more believing.
That's the power of a child.
That's the benefit of a child, or the power of a child is the fact that they believe. Their belief is exponential. The world hasn't suppressed their belief. The world hasn't stepped on what's possible in their mind. They haven't just become old, grouchy individuals with short tempers, with no patience, and no time for foolishness. That's why that term, ain't nobody got time for that. That's why that became so popular. Because a lot of people can relate to that mentality.
Everybody knows that.
Everybody understands that. Ain't nobody got time for that. That became a common saying. They probably got it in Spanish too. I didn't know that.
That song was everywhere. That was everywhere. Like 2 years straight.
No,
Nobody got time.
no chingazos.
Yeah.
Yo no tengo tiempo para eso.
Say it again.
Yo no tengo tiempo para eso.
Yeah, no, I don't have time for that.
There's a shorter version.
It's a shorter version. It's probably more foul. It's probably more foul in Spanish. But it's yeah, you know what I'm saying. But the whole point is this: we have things in us that we've already told ourselves that needs to be broken, that was already planted in us, just by way of the flesh. That you'll give yourself to automatically. You have to ask yourself, what is the automatic weakness that I tell myself? Maybe it's not, I don't got no help. Some people know how to function by themselves. Some people have matured enough to say, well, I'll do it by myself. Some of us don't have that ability and blame everybody for not helping me. And because nobody helping me, I don't care no more because nobody's helping me. Well, I don't need nobody. Well, some of us are only fixated at looking at blaming somebody for why I'm in the situation that I'm in, and they can't change or look at any other alternative than just what's in front of them. It's your fault. They always look for the scapegoat. Whose fault is it that my situation is this bad?
Or mom.
Mom,
Or dad.
yeah,
Or coach.
it's everybody's fault. My first grade teacher.
Yeah.
It's somebody's fault. So there's things in us that are pre-programmed. Read that definition, Gerard.
Come. It says the act of providing or making previous preparation.
See? We come with already previous pre-programmed built-in excuses. Why I don't have to change.
So guys, this question. So when the scripture says, make no provisions for the flesh, is that simply said that it's also about excuses or those provisions?
That's exactly what it's talking about. That's exactly what it's talking about. We got pre-programmed weakness these are our fallback modes that we go into. When things don't go my way, look for somebody to say it's their fault. When I don't feel like I'm growing, automatically say I ain't got no help. When I can't do something, look at the world and make an excuse why. Hate on somebody. Blame the white man.
He's a good one.
We all
I did it. I know I'm the reason why he did
all you white folks that listen to this class, it's all your fault. If I'm that kind of person.
Yeah.
If I have that pre-program in me. But if I really know the truth, the Most High put us in this condition as slaves and getting pillaged because of disobedience. It's really if I'm mature enough in my understanding, slavery for the last 400 years in America, and that is not just blacks. The Spanish brought. People don't realize this. Pocahontas was taken. People talk about Pocahontas helping the Pilgrims. People don't realize Pocahontas was taken to England as a slave, and she was married to her slave master. And then when her slave master promised her to bring her back to the Americas, and she died before she came back, she was taken as a slave. People talk about Pocahontas, which was the indigenous Native American Gadite slave trade that was happening prior to the popular transatlantic slave trade. They already took Indians. They took Indians here in Americas. The Spanish took Indians before the British did. And also because the Spanish had crops in the Caribbean, they took natives here and took them to the silver mines and sugarcane mines in the Caribbean.
And you know that's true because the Taínos in the Dominican Republic were wiped out by the 1500s by disease and pillaged. So they grabbed the Native Americans from Florida and put them back in the islands and black slaves and put them back to fill the population, the work population.
Oh. And Sesquanto was also taken as a slave. People talk about Sesquanto.
It's a pop about.
Well, he was because he spoke. They taught him English.
Okay.
And the reason why he knew English is because, and he became a popular help in the Americas because when he was taken as a slave and put on display, he was taken. Him and some others were taken into Europe as slaves into England, and he ended up landing a job with a rich merchant that taught him English. And that's how he was able to translate a lot of things in the native language and understand it. But they were slaves first. But if I really understand, it's really our fault. It's really our fault we're in the condition that we're in. But we have pre-programmed excuses built in of why things are the way they are. And you got to fight against those things that are already set in you. Man, we got molds that are in us, that are planted in us for why we haven't changed. And that's why it says don't make provisions for the what?
Like,
What else you got?
point number 5. It says previous stipulation.
Previous what?
Previous stipulation.
I've already been to church. That's why what y'all saying don't make no sense.
Previous. It's also
I don't trust pastors.
yeah.
I don't trust men with Bibles. Because I already know what they do. They all say the same thing. I don't trust people that congregate with scriptures. Too much like a cult. You know, we got all this stuff already built in by way of what's already naturally in us by way of the flesh or situations that happen to us.
Yep.
But there's a lot of excuses that we have made that's programmed. You got to go inside and rip out that program. You got to find out what is your weak program. What's in you that's weak? And pull out that weak program or defective program. What you got to write?
It says previous stipulation or previous terms or agreements made or measures taken for a future exigency.
So so it's measures taken for a future what?
Exigency.
Which means
Like,
what?
You're literally preparing your mind to program whatever negative thought that you have for future references, for
Right.
future purposes.
Or for quitting.
I'm prepping.
Oh wait, I'm waiting to see. This is what we tell ourselves. I'm waiting to see as soon as the first sign that I think you're cheating, I'm leaving. On the first sign. I'm not wasting no time. Because you're not gonna waste my time.
Yeah, I'm gonna get you before you get me.
I'm gonna get you before you get me. Upon the first sign of lying and frauding, I got a pre-programmed idea and an action that I'm gonna make as soon as I see flaw. As soon as I see you make a mistake, I got pre-programmed actions and words set up for people that I see make mistakes. I got pre-programmed justifications. Oh, I saw you do this. Now watch what happens when I do. You better not say nothing. You better not.
Oh, you gave me permission.
You better not nothing come out your mouth when you see me be weak.
Yeah.
You better not fix your mouth and say nothing, cause I seen you. I seen what you about. Man, you know how much stuff we got in us that's already lined up. What is that definition of that word? I want to know that word. That last word that you read.
Necessity.
It's that. How do you pronounce that word?
Exigent.
Exigency. Oh, so
Necessity.
so you know what he's saying then? He's saying people don't, when he says make not provision for the flesh, that word, say it again.
Exigency.
Exigency, which means what?
Necessity.
Necessity, right? So what he's saying is people have needs that will either feed them to strength or feed them to weakness. So you have to find out what do you feed yourself with as a necessity to be weak and not give into it. You have to learn how to let somebody point you in the direction of strength and reconvince you to go against what you've already told yourself is impossible or uncomfortable. So he says, make no provision. Who got that verse?
I got it. Romans chapter 13, verse 14. But put ye on the Lord Christ, and make not provision for the flesh.
So he's showing us what we have to attack. You gotta do some soul searching. Everybody has to do soul searching and ask yourself, what is my pre-programmed excuses? What's in me that I tell myself of what's too much? What's not enough? What I can't handle? Yes, sir.
Crazy though, you said about the program, they be up to date too.
Yeah.
Got
Yeah.
the latest update versions already for the to make these excuses.
Right. Now let's examine that. Ecclesiastes in the Bible, chapter 4, verse 1. Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 1.
Ecclesiastes 4:1.
Read
So
that.
I returned and considered.
So now he said, I returned and I considered. So he's paying attention to how people look at life. Solomon is paying attention to how people look at life. People look at life either one or two ways. Let's find out how Solomon said people look at life. Read.
So I returned and considered all the oppressions that are done under the sun.
He says, I considered all the suffering and all the oppressions that are done under the sun. How do people handle all the sufferings and all the oppressions that are done under the sun? How do people handle adversity? How do people handle complications? How do people handle suffering? He says, I concluded that people handle suffering and adversity one or two ways. Let's find out. Read.
And behold,
He said, and I watched what?
the tears of such.
He said, some people cry and they have tears. And he said their tears come from where? Read.
The tears of such as were oppressed.
He says they get oppressed. There's people in life that get oppressed and they cry. And they say what?
And they had no comforter.
And they tell themselves they have what?
No comforter.
So there's the criers of the world that go through suffering in life, and they're oppressed, and they look at the oppression, and they say to themselves, I don't have what?
No comforter.
I don't have no comfort. What does that mean?
No help.
I don't got no help.
Oh, wow.
I don't got no help. I'm crying. People gonna handle oppression and hardships one or two ways. They either gonna cry and be the victim, and they gonna say, I ain't got no help. I ain't got no comfort. Read on.
And on the side of their oppressors.
And what?
And on the side of their oppressors.
And on the other hand, if they're not crying, they're the oppressor. And what is the oppressor's mentality? Read.
There was power.
He had power, control. Read on.
But they had no comforter.
But their excuse is what?
They had no comfort.
What does that mean? Both aspects are negative.
Both of them make excuses.
Both of them make excuses. The person that's suffering and crying is saying, I ain't got no comfort, I ain't got no help. And the one that's oppressing is saying, I ain't had no comforter. What he's saying is, I had no choice.
Right.
I had to be extreme. I have to oppress people to survive. I have to rob, steal, lie, cheat. So you got two types of people in the world. And both of them are excuses. One saying, I'm the victim. Oh, I ain't got no help. I'm by myself. That's still a damn excuse. The other one is, I'm an oppressor. And I was forced to be an oppressor. Because I ain't have no comfort. Both of them saying they ain't had no comfort. But why their actions is different? Their actions are different, but their excuses are the same. This is what he's saying how people are. Both are just full of excuses. The one that's always crying, I ain't got no help. I'm by myself. No, you're not. But you can either look at life that way, and you'll be that kind of person that I ain't got no help and I'm just full of tears. Or you're going to be the oppressor, the one that's always pushing your way and enforcing your way on people and extracting resources from people. And then you tell yourself, I had no choice but to be this way. I was raised this way. I had no choice but to go get it by any means. I had to sell dope. I had to rob people. Which is still a what? It's still an excuse. People gonna make excuses both ways. Regardless. People gonna make excuses both ways. Whether you're the victim, you're gonna make excuses. Whether you're the oppressor, you're gonna make excuses.
They're both.
They both wrong. They both wrong. And this is what Solomon's saying. He said, man, I didn't travel the world, and I'm realizing, man, that you got those that are cry and blame everybody else, and then you got those that'll be a damn demon on people and still blame the fact that they have to be a demon. Both victims. Both excuses. Read on. Jump down to verse. I want to get straight to the point. Both are wrong because they're both excuses. But jump down to verse 4.
Verse 4. Again, I considered all travail.
He says, then again, he says, and again, I considered all travail. He said, I'm watching all the hell that people catch and how they respond to it. How people respond to the hell that they catch. Read.
In every right word.
He says, when I see people that actually are fighting for change, and they're actually busting their butt to be different and be better, he says, I'm watching those that actually put the work in to break their pre-programmed excuses and weaknesses. He says, in every right word, read.
That this man is envied of his neighbor.
And he says, and that man is busting his butt. He's still hated on by who?
His neighbor.
So I could either I'm either gonna say, why do good? Why change? Because I'm surrounded by a bunch of haters. Or I'm just gonna do good for the sake of doing good. But some people will look at that two ways. Why try to change when everybody around me just gonna hate on me? That's a negative outlook too. Why try to do what's right? That ain't gonna stop people from hating on me.
Yeah, there's no point in me getting right because I'm still gonna be the person,
The black sheep.
the black sheep, still the black sheep no matter what.
No matter what I do, I'm still the bad guy. So there's people that say, well, why do good? Because no matter what good I do, everybody around me just gonna hate me anyway. So why do good? What is that? What is that? It's an excuse. People got built-in excuses. And if you're gonna do good, you gotta do good because you're fighting yourself. You're fighting your flesh. You're fighting weakness. You're fighting excuses. You're fighting blaming other people. So what if people hate you? You got to do right for the sake of doing right. Read on.
God, that for this a man is envied of his neighbor.
And it says, so then I could either say, man, people gonna be jealous of me. They're gonna hate me anyway. So I might as well fall in line with the rest of the world. Then I give myself to the impression, like Moselle talked about earlier. I give myself to the influences and the pressure that the world puts on me. Why do I give in to the pressures of the outside world? Because I look at how they treat me. They're still going to hate me. They're still not going to like me. They're still not going to value me. So why even change when I'm not going to be valued? You can't look at that. You got to get that idea out your head. Read on.
This is also vanity.
He says this mentality, if I fall victim to it, is what?
Vanity.
It's a worthless perspective. If I ruminate on this thought too much. Yes, sir.
Also, I like what you're saying because you can use that as far as people that want to be accepted from everybody. You know what I'm saying? That's a real thing too. Right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're literally trying to please everybody. They're trying to be accepted from everybody, so they just burn themselves out trying to do that. That's impossible.
You gotta fight to be right first within yourself. You gotta beat your own demons.
Yeah.
You gotta fight your own weaknesses. You can't give in to excuses, even if the pressure's coming from the outside. Yes, sir.
Or you envy those that make progress.
Or you like Fat Joe. Jealous one's envy. Yeah. That's what he said his name stands for. Jealous one's envy. You can't. People gonna envy anyway. People gonna envy your progress anyway. So what? Or you're gonna be read on.
This is also vanity and vexation of spirit.
Read.
The fool foldeth his hands.
But if I look at that as trying is stupid because I'm gonna get hated anyway, what am I gonna do? If I don't look at change the right way, I'm gonna be the fool and do what?
The fool foldeth his hands together.
I'm gonna do what?
Fold his hands together.
What does that mean? I'm gonna do nothing. I'm not. If I feed into excuses, I'm just gonna fold my hands and do nothing. I'm gonna make no changes at all. I'm not even gonna try. Because I got a reason why nothing's gonna change. I got a built-in reason why nothing's gonna change. Because I see that even if you change, people still gonna hate you. You're still not gonna be loved. People still gonna be jealous of you. So if I don't understand that I gotta change because I'm fighting demons within me, and I gotta fight a negative outlook, then I'm gonna be the fool and sit back and say change ain't gonna do nothing no way. Ain't no benefit to change. They said the fool do what?
The fool foldeth his hands together.
And that also means this. Go to Proverbs 6 and 9. Go to Proverbs 6 and 9 through 11. It also means this too.
Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 9 through 11 says, how long wilt thou sleep, O sluggard? When wilt thou arise out of thy sleep?
When am I going to not stop giving into my comfort? When am I going to stop making provision for the flesh? Read.
It says, yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep.
What is that? What does that folding of the hands represent? Inactivity, but also me giving myself to my flesh. I listen to my flesh. The fool listens to his flesh. And he let his flesh tell him, no, change is not worth it. People gonna hate me anyway. The fool listened to his flesh.
Not worth it.
It's not worth it. Read on.
It says, so shall thy poverty come as one that traveleth, and thy want as an armed man.
But if that person keeps listening to excuses, they'll become like Ecclesiastes 4:1, where he'll become an oppressor and he'll still say, I had no choice. I'm desperate. I'll become desperate and I'll feed myself with the excuses that I had no choice but to be desperate. But the truth of it is I listen to my flesh, and my flesh caused me to become desperate.
That's the real answer. That's the real situation.
What I told myself fed the ideas of being weak. The weak ideas fed and led me to the notion that I had to enforce my way on people.
Yep.
And do illegal things because I ain't had no choice. But it all started from my perspective. It was all fed by my weakness, my built-in excuses. So either I'm going to be the person that's full of tears, that when I'm oppressed, I say I ain't got no comforter, or I'm going to be the person that's enforcing my way on people out of desperation because I was too slothful to fight myself, and I still say I ain't have no comfort. I still fall back into one of those two people. Read on. Verse 11, right? Go back in Ecclesiastes 4 and 5.
Ecclesiastes 4 and 5. The fool foldeth his hands together and eateth his own flesh.
You said, and eateth what?
And eateth his own flesh.
He said the fool folded his hands and eateth his own flesh.
Can I put it down?
God, I got it, but I want you to only hear your perspective.
My perspective on that is a fool is what?
A fool foldeth his hands together and eateth his own flesh.
Eat is to partake, and eat also to consume. So a person going to consume whatever their flesh provides. A fool just simply eats his own excuse. A fool simply eats his own reason. A fool's always going to eat whatever convenience his flesh is providing. So if it's strong depression, he's going to keep feasting on that. You can't give nothing else. He won't consume nothing else. You give something better, he'll ignore it and keep feeding his spirit his depression. Or he'll ignore it and keep feeding his spirit slothfulness. Your spirit has to eat too. Your spirit has to eat. Your spirit has to consume something. Bible says every hungry soul to want. I'm misquoting it. But the soul can be hungry. So if the soul can be hungry, the flesh is doing what? It's giving you something to feast off of. You're gonna feed the spirit or you're gonna feed the flesh. So what's a fool do? He just simply feeds off his what's already pre-programmed in his flesh. That's what gives him energy. That's what he's using to keep himself going.
Yep. What he's saying is I like what you're saying because Matthew Henry says something that's pretty profound. He says idleness is a sin that is its own punishment.
Wow.
Crazy. So if I feed myself with excuses that are pre-programmed, where I make no changes, he says that in itself will be my undoing. The fact that I make no changes within myself and I listen to those pre-programmed weaknesses in me, it will be my own undoing. I don't have to receive additional punishment. My perspective is my own punishment. Me feeding myself with weak excuses is my own punishment. So read that again.
God, verse 5, the fool foldeth his hands together and eateth his own flesh.
And what that means is, because this ain't about pointing out anybody and we're more holier than thou, because we're not. What this is just explaining how everybody's life got them into a particular condition where their life sucks. And when I'll say it again, this is just highlighting how everybody's perspective and excuses that they have pre-programmed, their outlook or their reasonings why they do what they do, got them into a situation where life sucks. Because your own slothfulness will do what? Read it again.
God, verse 5, the fool foldeth his hands together and eateth his own flesh.
Folding my hands together is the excuses that I tell myself. Everybody's excuses got them to where they are in life. It's not about highlighting and pinpointing and pointing out that we're better than anybody else. Because I'll tell you where my mind was at. Prior to the truth, I was on a money chase. I had 3 jobs and I wasn't going to church. I grew up in the church, but I wasn't going to church. I prayed over my food, but I didn't pray. But I was on a money chase. But that was my perspective. And where did my perspective get me? Let's find out. Let's go to Ecclesiastes, read chapter 5, verse 10.
God, chapter 5, verse 10. He that loveth silver shall not be satisfied with silver.
I only had 1 job. I had 2 jobs. But I didn't have 2 jobs. I had what? I had 3 jobs. Why did I have 3 jobs? I wasn't satisfied with 1. I wasn't content with 1. So I was like a Jamaican. I got 3 jobs, man. I got 15 jobs, man. I was like Benjamin. You know, I wasn't satisfied. But this is where my mind got me. Where I fed myself, what I fed myself got me into a situation. So let's read what happens. Well, this was my particular, I can't relate to everybody's situation, but this was my situation that I was in. I was on a money chase. Read.
He that loveth silver shall not be satisfied with silver.
Go ahead.
Nor he that loveth abundance with increase.
It says he that loveth abundance with what?
Increase.
I wasn't happy with the car I had to get a better one. I had to work for a better one. I wasn't happy with the house I had to get a bigger one. No matter what I had clothes. I wanted name brand clothes. I wanted fashionable clothes. I wasn't content with nothing that I had. I wanted bigger and better. I was thirsty for bigger and better. Read on.
Nor he that loveth abundance with increase. This is also vanity.
Go ahead.
when goods
It
increase,
says, when goods increase, read.
they are increased. They are increased that eat them.
Yes, the ones that eat them are increased.
Mm.
Read on.
And what good is there, and what good is there to be owners thereof, saving the beholding of them with their eyes.
What can having more than enough silver and gold actually, more than enough money actually do for you? Nothing. You know, so you know the good, the only good that can come from having an ultra fat bank account is the fact that you can go online and check your account. Back in the day, you had to go to the ATM machine and just do a balance sheet and just look at how much money you got. That's all the good. Ultimately, spiritually, there's no benefit of having additional more than enough dollars. All you can do is look at it. And it makes you feel better. It makes you feel comfortable. You think so. Read on.
God, saving the beholding of them with their eyes.
Go ahead.
The sleep of a laboring man is sweet.
But my thirst, my rationale, my pre-programmed excuses that I made, why one job is not enough, two jobs is not enough, three jobs is not enough. What was I forfeiting because of my lust for silver and gold? Peace. Guess what I didn't have? I didn't have no peace. And I damn sure didn't get no sleep. I had no peace and I wasn't getting no sleep. I was developing heart palpitations and an irregular heartbeat by 19 years old. Started developing an irregular heartbeat because I wasn't sleeping. But I was on a money chase. But my reason and rationale got me to that point where I'm developing irregular heartbeat. Read on.
God, the sleep of a laboring man is sweet, whether he eat little or much. But the abundance of the rich will not suffer him to sleep.
It won't suffer me to sleep because the thirst for more, not being content with what I have, and the desire for more wouldn't let me what?
Sleep.
Wouldn't let me sleep. I'll never be at peace. But it's a way of thinking. So I'm only explaining that our way of thinking puts us in a particular position in life. I can't relate to everybody, but everybody's life became what it was because of whatever you fed yourself with.
You know, it's crazy. I remember me and you had a conversation years ago about this same verse because it was a short time, very short time, thank you Most High, that I was in trading. I was trading every day, hour by hour, and not every hour by hour. So this one particular day, the news was saying how gold was gonna be going up and all this fun stuff. Like, you know, I got an opportunity, right? I put all my savings. I put like $500 in it. So we be going up. We going for the moon. And how it works trading, you can margin. So pretty much, put in simple terms, guy, close the door. To put it in simple terms, if I put 500 in, I could pretty much come out with 2,000. There's a way that can happen if I margin it correct. Well, I'm sitting there and I put the money in, and I'm up for like 2 hours. I'm kind of pacing around. I see the money go up to 800, 1,000, 1,200, 1,500. Now I'm having money dreams. Like, you know what? I'm gonna stay here. We're coming up. This is the beginning. I can sit here, flip this 1,200, go back and put more money in. I'm starting to fantasize all the possibilities that's about to happen right now. The money just keeps rising. So the news is correct. The news is telling the truth. Trump is not tripping today. You know, it's like 2018. So the news wasn't getting blown up. So I went to sleep out, and I couldn't sleep. The anxiety was so intense that every hour I'm looking at my phone. Okay, we still up. Then I started having nightmares. I was sleep for like 2 hours. It's still like 2 in the morning. I'm having nightmares now that I lost it all. So I get up and panic. I find my phone. What's the money at? All right, we up 1,500 right now. I was looking great. Then I went to sleep for like 3 hours. I woke up -5.
Yeah. That's -5.
I was like, ain't that something? Ain't that something? But the whole point of the story, I called you to one after that. Man, I was up all night with this idea that I'm gonna come up, and I kept seeing it rise. It only fed my anxiety, only fed my stress. The more my money kept rising, the more the idea that I'm gonna become rich, the more stressed I was, the less I could sleep, and the more fearful I was of losing it all. It was a new fear I never had. I never had many. Now I got them. I'm afraid of losing them.
Now,
It's causing me stress.
with the additional earnings came additional anxiety.
Kind of.
And this is why the scriptures say this. Read on.
God, the sleep of a laboring man is sweet, whether he eat little or much, but the abundance of the rich will not suffer him to sleep.
So now I'm on a new quest for the money chase, only to find out that there's downsides to me being on a money chase. There's consequences to the money chase. Read on.
13. There is a sore evil.
He said there's a what?
There is a sore evil,
Read on.
which I have seen under the sun,
Read on.
namely riches kept for the owners thereof to their herds.
It says riches kept to the owners thereof to their what?
To their herds.
Although I was on a money chase because that was my determination, but I didn't realize that my determination and my lust was actually doing what to me?
Hurting.
It was hurting me. I didn't know that. Yes, sir.
Like those Wall Street investors that jumped out the window in the Great Depression.
They couldn't handle it. But you know, there's riches that actually hurt you. But I thought that me being in this state of mind, always trying to reach for more and not being content on where I was at, I thought that's where I wanted to be at, because I told myself I was passing something down to my kids. That's what I told myself. I gotta have something. I don't want my kids to grow up like I grew up. So I gotta have something to pass down to them. I gotta have something to give them. So I'm gonna break myself in order to pass something down so they don't have to struggle. Continue. That was my justification. Read.
But those riches perish by evil travail.
You know how those riches perish by evil travail? It's something called inflation. $1 in the 90s is not $1 today. $1 in the 90s could get you a Whopper with cheese, with all the fixings on it. Or you can get they used to sell at Taco Bell the super burrito, ultra burrito for 99 cents. It was a super big old burrito. It was a huge burrito at Taco Bell for 99 cents. Back in the day, you can get your 99-cent 40. You can get 2 of them big burritos and get 2 gallons on pump number 2, and a gallon was 99 cents. A gallon of gas was 99 cents. That was $5. And you have yourself a day with $5. $5 only barely get you a gallon. So all the labor and all the work and all the money don't even equate the same anymore. And that's why the money ain't even, the value has diminished. It don't go nowhere now. So all that labor, all that sacrifice was eaten up. Read on.
But those riches perish by evil travail.
Go ahead.
And he begetteth a son.
And what did I tell myself? I got to work hard for my son. I got to give something to my son. So say if I put up 30,000 in the 90s. What the hell is 30,000 now? It's really 5,000.
Yeah.
It's really $5,000.
Oh my.
Man, a Toyota in 1971 was $1,700. Y'all saw that short, that YouTube short? Brand new Toyota 1971. The Corolla was $1,700. You can't, man, you 26,000 for the Corolla.
For the base model. Not the fixings on it.
Yeah.
Just the base model.
From 17, not the sport model. You ain't got the sport model. You got the basic model, the base taxi cab model. And listen, that ain't nothing. He says, but that man have a son, which I did, and I said, this is why I'm working so hard. Read on.
And he begetteth a son, and there is nothing in his hand.
And my son ended up what? With nothing. Guess what all that work was for then? What was them 3 jobs for then? Nothing. It was all vanity. A lot of people are in a situation that they thought they were putting themselves or setting themselves up in a greater position, but in actuality, it amounted to nothing. That's my testimony. And also, what good is it to hand down 30,000 that only equates to 5,000, but I don't have no wisdom to teach them? But all I can tell them is go get a job. All I can tell them is work hard. If one job ain't good enough, get two. What advice, what spirit could I feed them with if I would have continued on the path that I was on that actually was amounting to nothing? Everybody pre-truth was on a path that was created by their excuses that wasn't really working out. If you're honest with yourself, I know I'm honest with myself. I was climbing heights that was going to be empty. I was going to fall out empty-handed. I was climbing some broken dreams that would have amounted to nothing but bad health. I would have had bad health if I had continued on the road I was on. All I would have got was bad health and some poop butt advice about, man, you need to work hard, man. Just take care of your family. Try your best. Cheap advice like that. Because I was living according to my excuses. My excuses of I got a son, I got to do the best for my family. I got to pass him down something, so I'm on this money chain. Those excuses got nothing but hurt to me. How many of our justification or weaknesses or pursuits actually led to our hurt pre-truth? Everybody should be able to look at their life and see where their life got them, where your decision making got you. You probably were alone, probably were brokenhearted, probably on a divorce. You probably was having multiple responsibilities. You probably was in a situation you didn't want to be in. You probably was in a circumstance you didn't like, and you had no power you had no control over it. Because everybody's determination has a repercussion. Everybody's built-in excuses has a consequence. And I just got to be honest with myself to see where was I thinking, what mentality was I in, and actually was it actually getting me? It was getting me nowhere. Yes, sir.
I like what you're saying now, because I remember a war years ago. He broke down that word rich, and rich also means external happiness. So, all of us have our own form of happiness that we have, saying that we, fed, free truth. But, it's good what you're bringing out, bro, because, it's something to be aware of, you know what I'm saying?
Yep. Proverbs 21 and 20. And somebody else give me Ecclesiastes 19 and 1. Let me get Proverbs 21 and 20. Another brother read Ecclesiastes 19 and 1. 19 in the Apocrypha.
Proverbs 21 and verse 20. There is treasure to be desired.
Yeah. You know what? I had treasure that I was trying to get. Go ahead. That my justification was I'm trying to pass it down to my kids. I don't want my kids to grow up like I grew up. So I was working crazy hours, crazy jobs for the idea that I'm passing something down to my kids. He said, there's a what?
There is a treasure to be desired, and oil in the dwelling of the wise.
Read on.
But a foolish man spendeth it up.
But if I didn't have wisdom to give my son, what was he going to do with all that I worked hard for?
Spend it up.
So that's the curse of the workaholic. I was a workaholic that I didn't even know I was living a cursed life. Because I was finna grind myself to the bone to pass down some money to a son that didn't have no wisdom, that was just going to blow it anyway. Pass it down to some kids that was going to blow it anyway, that didn't know the value of it or what it took to achieve it. That's the curse of the workaholic. That was a dead-end pursuit that I was on, and I didn't even know it. A lot of us are in dead-end pursuits. That's why a lot of us come in the truth, and this ain't no slap at nobody, but a lot of us come in the truth from broken situations. Let's be honest, the whole need not a physician, but the what? It was pursuits that I lived in my life that wasn't working too well, and by the grace of the Most High in Christ, the Most High put me on a better path. And if it ain't the curse of the workaholics, get Ecclesiastes 19 and 1.
Ecclesiastes 19 and 1. A laboring man that is given to drunkenness.
So it's also the curse of the alcoholics. So if it ain't the workaholic mentality that was gonna get you, it was the alcoholic mentality that was gonna get you. Something was gonna get you. Something was gonna put you in a position where all your work was gonna be for nothing. I was the workaholic, but I was also the what? I was also the alcoholic, because I was looking for comfort to pacify the labor.
Yeah.
And the strain and the stress. Yeah, looking for ease. One of them's gonna get you either way. You could be the workaholic, and that's your mantra. I gotta pass something down for my kids, and I gotta do this. I gotta set them up for success. That's a dead end road too. Or you could be the laboring man that will go to work, bust your butt, but you haven't eliminated your what? Your vices. So because you didn't eliminate your vices, you can work yourself to the bone, but you still got vices. You still got pre-programmed weaknesses that you haven't fought. So you can grind yourself to the bone, but because you still have evidence of this prescripted, pre-programmed, prescribed weakness and excuses that you feed yourself, what will happen? Read on.
A laboring man that is given to drunkenness shall not be rich.
You ain't coming up either. So if you have it, whether you have the wrong thoughts, it's going to end up in vanity, or whether you haven't eliminated your vices, everything you do will still come to vanity. There's still vanity at the end of the road. If you don't accept the fact that you got weaknesses in you and excuses in you, everything you do, there is vanity at the end. Everything you do is going to be for nothing. That's why you have to find out what is weak about you. You have to find out what are your vices. You have to find out what are your excuses. You have to find out what do you tell yourself. What provisions do you make for the flesh? You better identify that. Because if you don't identify what provisions you make for the flesh, everything you do will be for nothing. So I'm a man that labors, but I still give myself the wine. I still make provision for the flesh. Read on.
It says, and he that contemneth small things shall fall by little and little.
And if I contempt small things, making changes, I shall fall what?
By little and little.
So now we understand a little bit better. I might read that one more time. Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 5.
Ecclesiastes 4:5. Got it. The fool folded his hands together.
So if the fool keep listening to himself, the fool keep listening to his flesh, the fool keep listening to his excuses, what's going to happen?
And eateth his own flesh.
That means everything you do will be extreme. You'll have an extreme life. And that's exactly what we lived prior to coming into this truth. Extreme lives that weren't going to amount to nothing. Full of excuses. Give me Ecclesiastes 9 and 10. Yep.
Ecclesiastes 9 and 10.
Read that.
Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might.
And also, listen, it ain't just talking about eat his own flesh. You keep listening to yourself, you'll eat your own flesh. What he's also talking about is you'll compromise. You'll compromise yourself to survive. How many people resort to giving organs or becoming medical experiments like real life human guinea pigs, like human lab rats to make money? How many people give blood to function? Literally, your excuses and what you tell yourself will lead you to the point where you are compromising yourself. You will compromise yourself in some way, shape, or form, legally or illegally. How many people give themselves to prostitution? These are people that's eating their own flesh. These are people that are surviving by way of compromising their bodies. You will, if you keep listening to yourself, eventually that's where it leads to. You will compromise yourself to function in some way, shape, or form. I got a baby on the way, and my rib told me that she saw a video where a family brought an ice chest to the hospital because the placenta's worth $50,000.
Yeah, I've heard of
And for a split second,
Wow.
for a split second,
it.
yeah, you rubber your face.
It's them saying,
Yeah,
it's them saying right there.
yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? 50K. 50,
Yeah, ice check.
50, I got an ice check. I just gotta time it right.
Yeah.
You gotta, I gotta have the ice ready. I gotta have the ice ready on deck. For just for a minute, I'm just like 50,000 for the placenta, huh? Man, that's tempting. If you struggle,
Yeah.
then you gotta ask yourself, man, what's important to the Most High, man? You know, the Most High said the entrails of the animal. The Most High said the entrails belong to Him. So what difference is it? You know what? I gotta look at it the same way. That's off limits, man. Get the Most High, whatever they're gonna do with it. Let the hospital do with it. Whatever they're gonna do with it. Most of the time, they bring the red bag, and the red bag is for human waste, and they discard it and they incinerate it. But why is that so tempting? Because if you're not careful, we'll stoop to any level to function if we listen to ourselves. I ain't got no choice. I gotta do it. I gotta get them. I gotta get this 50. I just gotta get this 50. I ain't got no choice. It's my chance. If we listen to ourselves, man, everything will eventually eat our own flesh.
Yeah.
Well,
If we keep listening to ourselves. Yes, sir. 60,000. It went to 75.
yeah.
It's no longer 60,000 for a surrogate mother.
I had a cousin that did that.
Inflation.
That's what she did every year. Every year she had a baby. This is correlated, bro.
Every year she had a baby.
She had a baby like every 3-4 years in a row. That was self perfume. I didn't know.
As a career.
She's always pregnant. She just opened up, just told me, I'm a surrogate. I have babies for people. I have a baby for other people. And she had like it was a job, like a trucker. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, bro.
And
It was 60,000 on the billboard.
Yeah.
Now it's 75. It's more tempting. I bet you that phone is ringing.
oh, it's gonna ring up.
I bet you that phone is ringing. But do you know how much it takes out of a mother to give birth? How many minerals and nutrients is being extracted out of a woman? Calcium depletion, mineral depletion, hair, nails falling out, teeth falling out, teeth are rotten. Just that baby's pulling so much out of you to develop and ate healthy and consciousness of this child, just to turn around and just to see the baby come out, snip that umbilical cord, and off the baby goes to somebody that couldn't have the baby.
The issue is, does it go there? Who does it go to? Do you really know?
Now we know that according to the scripture, we know that it was Sarah's it was her thoughts that said, you know what? Let me give you my handmaid so you can have children in my name. Here, take my handmaid. You know what? But that was out of doubt. She didn't have to do it.
Yeah.
And that became the child of the flesh, not the spirit. Because the Most High said, your child gonna come out of your loins. That was her doing. That what the Most High didn't bless. He blessed them, but he didn't claim his seed being from them. His chosen from Ishmael. So a lot of things we do is through compromise. So he's saying in Ecclesiastes 4 and 5, if you listen to your excuses, eventually you will do what? Read that again. Read verse 5 real quick and then jump to 9.
Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 5. The fool foldeth his hands together
If I listen to my excuses, what's going to end up happening?
and eateth his own flesh.
I will compromise myself later. Which is rather.
You don't get it. You don't get it later.
Huh?
You don't get it later. He didn't listen.
Who that?
Who's that?
Zach.
Oh, he was listening. What he do?
He didn't listen. I thought he said that.
Oh man, he know what he's supposed to do. He being a baby, man. He know what he's supposed to do.
I knew
You know, but you know, he know what babies do. Like Neil deGrasse Tyson said, he said that was an experiment. Every child, when they're touching stuff and doing stuff, that's an opportunity to experiment.
Yeah.
So you killing their creativity when you let them experiment.
Give in me.
I've heard that.
So last verse.
He creative in his body.
Let's get
So you wanted 9 by 2?
yeah, it was Ecclesiastes 9 and 10.
Oh, no, I'm saying that.
Yeah, Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 10. Read that. Yeah.
Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might.
It says, whatever you find your hand to do, you have to do it with all your what?
Might,
Why do you have to do everything with all your can?
Because you don't want to leave room for that doubt or for them excuses or for Satan
Say that again and say it louder. Why do you have to do everything with all your might?
to leave little or no room, to leave no room.
Yeah, not little, to leave no
Leave
room.
no room for doubt, for Satan to come in for the excuses. To
Yes,
leave
sir.
no room for those things that are gonna eventually stop.
Because that's how strong these provisions are. That's how strong these ideas and these thoughts are that are weak. The propensity to blame people for my problems, to call out the fact that I ain't got no help, to look at my situation as hopeless because I ain't got no help. Nobody cares enough. Nobody's helping me. To make excuses for my situation. That's so strong. That spirit is so strong. You have to counter that. And it takes all of your strength to counter those pulls. Yes, sir.
You can never go more.
And you can never go far enough. He said that was my goal, to keep Judea hooked up to the placenta after birth until all the nutrients enter her body. But that was robbed from her by C-section. Yeah, like that. The baby. They say it's good to have the baby connected to the placenta even after birth, because that cord blood is so rich.
We did it with Ivan.
Yeah, it's so rich and it's so full of nutrients. And they say that the baby is still feeding off what's in the placenta for a couple of hours.
We did it for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, they say so when you cut it too quick, you're robbing the baby of nutrients that could have got them, that could calm them down after the trauma of going through birth. There's nutrients and things and enzymes in the milk that help keep the baby from shock. You know what I'm saying? So it keeps them connected to that placenta. But when you take them off too soon, too quick, you rob the child, you rob the baby. But they know that cord blood and that placenta is full of nutrients because they send that off to stem cell research. They send that off to graft people skin grafting or having blood transfusions, or people that have that need that have the lack of bone marrow. What do you call
Bone
it?
marrow transplant.
Bone marrow transplants. So all that is highly nutritious blood that can actually redevelop and heal burn victims, surgery problems, whatever. So they know it's something in that. That's why they say they offer that. But people do anything when you're desperate. That's the whole point. You make desperate measures when you listen to the flesh, when you listen to your decisions and you listen to your weaknesses. Eventually, you'll be making desperate measures. And this is why we pulled the verse in Ecclesiastes 4 that said Solomon said he saw two type of people: the victim that was crying, that said that they didn't have no comforter, or the person that was the oppressor, and they justified their oppression because they didn't have a comforter. Both are excuses. And so the objective in life is to listen to neither, to learn how to not listen to the flesh at all, not listen to your pre-programmed excuses at all. Be in the spirit of what you're doing and fight like hell to identify what's weak about you and not give in to it. And that's the whole point. So with that, we're going to say shalom, and we'll see you on Friday. All right. Shalom, Israel. Everybody have a good night and be blessed with your families and hopefully clap is edifying.